Check out the website for opportunities in the community. Find your next customer at copyrabbit.com, where people go to get things done.
My brother-in-law died suddenly, and now my sister and her kids have to sell their home. That's why I told my husband we could not put off getting life insurance any longer. An agent offered us a 10-year, $500,000 policy for nearly $50 a month. Then we called SelectQuote. SelectQuote found us identical coverage for only $19 a month, a savings of $369 a year.
Whether you need a $500,000 policy or a $5 million policy, SelectQuote could save you more than 50% on term life insurance.
For your free quote, call SelectQuote at 1-800-929-2121. That's 1-800-929-2121. Or go to SelectQuote.com. 1-800-929-2121. That's 1-800-929-2121.
SelectQuote. We shop. You save. Full details on example policies at selectquote.com/commercials.
Can you make the payment? Of course you can. $325, $350, $375 a month. Get to own a car, where only one question matters. Can you make the payment? Choose from hundreds of cars, trucks, and SUVs. And with Own a Car's No Score, No More, Valley car buyers are getting approved, and most approvals are given within 30 minutes. Can you make the payment? What are you waiting for? Just bring your pay stub and ID. Own a Car Fresno, home of the 500 down sales events, Blackstone and Bullard, or at ownacar.com.
Ownacar.com.
Solar Negotiators wants people to know about our new Power Shift program. So we're offering $1,500 off per smart battery to customers now through May 31st. Be the first to experience the Power Shift. Call Solar Negotiators today for your free quote.
News Talk, 580 AM, 105.9 FM, KMJ, Fresno, a Cumulus Media station.
KMJ.
Sunny and 65 at Radio City. It's 2 o'clock. I'm Liz Kern in the KMJ newsroom. On his State of the State tour today, California's governor at San Quentin State Prison announces plans to change the prison. Gavin Newsom says the facility will be renamed the San Quentin Rehabilitation Center.
We want to be the preeminent restorative justice facility in the world. That's the goal. San Quentin is iconic. San Quentin is known worldwide. If San Quentin can do it, it can be done anywhere else.
Newsom says with education and training and rehab for less dangerous prisoners, he's creating the California model for safety and justice. In 2022, Newsom announced some inmates would be moved from San Quentin to other prisons in the California penitentiary system. About 100 have already been moved. Efforts continue across Tulare County to deal with numerous issues caused by storm-related flooding.
Tulare County officials say, as expected, water from Lake Success is now flowing over its spillway. As a result, a sandbagging operation was made near Porterville that included using helicopters. The aircraft dropped so-called super sacks filled with rocks to immediately shore up critical locations. But Tulare County Deputy Fire Chief Jeff McLaughlin says one area waterway remains their top priority.
There's several breaches along the Tule River. The main breach right now is at 152, right on Olive where the Tule River crosses there, and it's pushing water towards the Frank Kern Canal.
County officials also say Highway 99 has not been impacted by any flooding yet, but they will continue to watch nearby waterways and respond if necessary. Ruth Michaels, KMJ News.
All homes and businesses north of the North Branch of the Tule River to Avenue 192 and those east of Highway 99 to Road 152 are being asked to leave. Sheriff Mike Boudreau issuing an evacuation warning for residents and businesses within the communities of Alpaugh and Allensworth. Also, Highway 43 closed south of Corcoran due to flooding. Some businesses in the Sierra are beginning to reopen, closed since late last month due to the heavy snow. Fresno County Supervisor Nathan Magsig hopes you take a trip up to support them.
There are many businesses up here in Shaver, like the Hungry Hut, like Pub and Grubs, that need you to come up and enjoy these establishments.
China Peak, the mountain resort, is open today until 4 with 2 to 4 inches of fresh snow and clear skies. Highway 168 is open, but there may be a chains or four-wheel drive requirement past Shaver Lake. Yosemite National Park reopened to the public tomorrow. Since February 21st, the park has seen more than 15 feet of snow at Tuolumne Meadows. That's higher than the average single-story house. For weeks, crews have been working to remove the snow and clear rock slides. The Park Service says the only access to Yosemite Valley will be through Highway 140 and El Portal Road. Yosemite Valley will be open from sunrise to sunset with limited services. A new survey reveals most people want to see better labeling of plant-based chicken products. KMJ's Ag Director Don York reports.
The National Chicken Council released survey results on what people think about chicken and plant-based chicken alternatives. Most people want clearer product labeling and separate shopping sections for plant-based products. The National Chicken Council believes the term chicken should only be used for food products made from the actual animal. 1 in 5 Americans reported that they accidentally purchased a plant-based product believing it to be real chicken. Survey results also show that consumers, including those who eat plant-based chicken, prefer authentic chicken for taste, affordability, and cooking versatility. Don York, KMJ News.
And about 100 Fresno State students celebrated St. Patrick's Day by marching through the streets of Ireland. Bulldog Marching Band Director Stephen McKeithen says those students are part of the All Mountain West Conference Band, invited to perform in the Dublin St. Patrick's Day Parade.
It's so unique because the crowd is literally on the other side of some barriers. The roads are very tight. And so it's a very, you're in it, immersive experience as a performer. So I think they're really going to have a great time.
McKeithen telling KMJ's Broski Musan the Fresno State students paid their own ways to Ireland. They're part of a band that boasts more than 200 all-conference members. On Wall Street, the Dow ended negative, down 384 points. Now here's Fox 26's Justin Willis with our Friday forecast.
A fairly nice St. Patrick's Day afternoon with valley highs right about normal in the upper 60s and increasing clouds. Overnight lows are in the 40s. Slight chance of rain Sunday before the next major storm moves in Monday. This one should last until Wednesday, with it dropping up to 2 inches on the valley floor and up to 6 inches of rain in the mountains. Keep an eye out for flood watches as we start next week. From the Fox 26 Weather Center for KMJ, I'm Justin Willis.
With news on the hour, on the half, and when it breaks, and always streaming at KMJNow.com. I'm Liz Kern, News Talk 580, 1059 KMJ.
Commercial Radiator, your full-service repair shop for large industrial radiators, ag equipment, or to keep your fleet on the road. That's Commercial Radiator.
Now, KMJ's Afternoon Drive with Philip Teresi and E. Curtis Johnson.
206 News Talk 580 1059 KMJ. Good afternoon and welcome to the Friday installment of your Afternoon Drive. Phone numbers here are 490-5858, toll free 800-776-5858. Find the show on social media at Drive KMJ. Find it streaming on Facebook Live at Drive KMJ. Joshua Weekly stands by to screen your calls this afternoon as I join E. Curtis Johnson back in the KMJ studio.
Hi, and a fine top of the afternoon to you as we celebrate St. Patty's Day. I don't know if you knew this or not, but to protect their fair skin, the Irish invented the world's most effective sunscreen. It's called the pub.
I like that.
And I promise that it's the only time I will do that Irish accent this afternoon.
I have no objection to offer to St. Patrick's Day, although in my mind, the difference between St. Patrick's Day and Cinco de Mayo in this country is the hat that you wear.
Yes, they're both, fill in the blank of the nation here, drunk day.
Yeah.
Is what it amounts to.
Yeah, it's a themed party day, and that's fine. The thing that interested me about St. Patrick's Day falling on this particular Friday is, for Catholics, you don't eat meat on Friday, and you've got all of the Lenten sacrifices. How many people today are seriously contemplating, well, it's St. Patrick's Day, I've got to have corned beef and cabbage. It's St. Patrick's Day. I never said I was going to give up drinking, but I mean, seriously, it's the big day. And I've seen all these think pieces and dioceses chiming in and when it's okay and when it's not. And it's just this fascinating little tiny narrow slice of cultural confusion.
Yeah, everybody looking for the exception to it. Well, I have just a drop of Irish blood in me about 6 generations back, and that's as close as I can claim any affiliation to the holiday. But in answer to your question, I'm going to say if anybody has any exceptions today, most people are going to claim them.
Oh yeah, well, and if you're a real Catholic, you already know the answer. Buy an indulgence tomorrow. All right. Happy St. Patrick's Day, everybody. If you are out partying and celebrating, for goodness sake, be safe. Get a rideshare driver. Don't be that guy, because the local law enforcement apparatus, Fresno Police Department, Clovis Police Department, Fresno County Sheriff, CHP, Sanger PD, Madera PD, all of them are on high alert. St. Patrick's Day on a Friday, jokes about Meatless Fridays aside, St. Patrick's Day on a Friday means that it is going to be amateur hour deluxe tonight.
Yeah, and the same would go for Cinco de Mayo too, as you mentioned earlier. It does tend to bring out the indulgences in people.
Yeah, and I am all about indulging and having fun and just doing something that's not quite politically correct for the sheer joy of being silly. I'm all about it. Just leave your car keys at home.
Yeah, absolutely.
Besides, if you really want to celebrate St. Patrick's Day the way it was meant to be celebrated by our progenitors in Boston, the Irish don't think that any of this is appropriate or dignified. It's almost mandatory that at some point you attempt to crawl home and fall asleep on the side of the road.
Mandatory.
If you're doing it for real, I mean, seriously.
Wow. That sounds a little extreme.
If you didn't leave a mess that upset somebody's landscaper, you didn't do it right.
You're not a true Bostonian Irishman if you don't leave a mess.
Plastic patties. All right. We got a new buzz question for you, KMJnow.com, brought to you by the Boz Allergy, Asthma, and Sinus Centers. Governor Newsom has announced he's going to spend $1 billion, another billion, $1 billion with a B dollars to reduce homelessness yet again by 15%. Will it work, or will it attract more homeless? Answer the buzz question at KMJnow.com. Again, that's made possible by the Boz Allergy, Asthma, and Sinus Centers. My belief is that the most instructive possible literature on the subject is the children's book, If You Give a Mouse a Cookie. How do you feel about this?
Well, we had that book when my kids were young. If you give the mouse a cookie, as I recall, the more you give him, the more he wants.
Yeah.
You give him one thing, and the mouse wants something else.
Yes.
Okay, so you're obviously talking about this in relation to Governor Newsom's proposed plan for building homes.
$1 billion, like 1,200 tiny homes scattered around the state.
Yeah, that seems like an awful hefty price tag. You know what? I wouldn't object to California spending $1 billion on homes for the homeless, but 1,200, that's not much of anything. Okay, so Sacramento's going to get 350 of those homes. LA is going to get 500. San Jose is going to get 200. San Diego gets 150. And here we are. So those are the four most populous cities in California. Yeah. They get something. The number 5 most populous city in California, which is Fresno, gets bupkis.
Yeah.
So I'm not really certain if I'm more irritated that I think that's too much for too little. If there were more homes than that, it would make better sense to me. But it does nothing for Fresno. It does nothing for most of California. And I got to give him credit in, all right, you got to start somewhere. He hasn't said this is the only thing I'm going to do. This is just where I'm going to start.
Well, there's no earthly way that the governor went out and proudly announced that he's going to spend $833,000 per unit on tiny homes. Because if the $1 billion was just building 1,200 tiny homes, that's how the math works out. $833,333 and change per house. So it cannot possibly be just that, although looking at the management of high-speed rail,
Yeah.
I'm sure that there's other programs and services that get tied into this. And the more that I see California struggle, the more that I come to the conclusion that you've got two ways to go. And nobody likes this answer. It's not nice, it's not warm and fuzzy, it's not kind. But it's the Darwinian approach. Stop subsidizing homelessness. Stop offering aid and comfort so that people can suffer in homelessness. Because if you take away all of those safety nets that make it approximately comfortable, or at the very least survivable, the people who are capable of getting their act together will do so. And the people who are not capable of getting their act together will not. And it's not nice, because if you're talking about a Darwinian solution, you are talking about people suffering and dying. And that hurts, and nobody wants that answer. The other solution's the humanist, and that's what Newsom is really gearing for. And we provide houses, and we provide medical care, and we provide food, and we provide this really rigid cradle-to-grave structure. You can't or you won't take care of yourself, so we will manage every aspect of your life, every aspect of your children's lives. And generations of your family can just be totally dependent, because the state will tell them where to go and what to do from the moment they're born to the moment they die. And they call it humanism. And it's fascism is what it really is. But it sounds nicer than pulling the rug out and saying, figure it out.
You know, I hear what you're saying, but let me offer some pragmatic experience here. And I think I've talked about this once before. I may talk about it again. So I've worked in 3 locations in downtown Fresno since 2007.
Yeah.
And 1 location in the Tower District. So in 2007, the difference between 2007 and 2015 was a stark contrast. Again, 3 different locations there. The number of homeless people I encountered every day in 2007 was a lot less than 2015. So non-scientific data here, but just my experience. Again, every day being in downtown Fresno, walking those streets, driving around various locations, it was obvious to me that the number of homeless people had increased.
Oh, yeah.
When I got to the Tower District, I discovered that I was working on Olive Avenue. The homeless people come down Blackstone, they hit Olive, and then they head into to downtown. Some of it is headed for some of the shelters that are there.
Yeah.
One thing that really opened my eyes, though, was in 2017, 2018, I was working in Oakhurst and was shocked to see that Oakhurst had a serious homeless problem. Now, the difference between the homeless people I encountered in downtown Fresno and the difference between the homeless people in Oakhurst was a stark comparison. They were a lot of obviously drug abuse, alcohol abuse, mental illness. I have great sympathy for those people, because I don't think any of those people wanted to be there. They had serious problems. But the people in Oakhurst were hippies, for lack of a better term.
Yeah.
They were younger people, all of them in their 20s and 30s. All of them had some resources, and they had just become kind of professional campers.
Yeah.
So is it that population that you're talking about, of the people that don't have a drug addiction or an alcohol addiction or a mental illness, but just people that are taking the easy way? Is that who you're identifying?
Well, I do think that population is a component of this. I think that you've got people who have learned to be dependent on the system. They've learned to be dependent on welfare. And they don't mind standing around in the hot sun panhandling all day, because they'll get their needs met. Because the bar's not high. There's no concept of, I'm worth more than this. I think that some of the kids that you're talking about in Oakhurst, this kind of, the drifters.
That's drifter. That's a good word for it.
That's kind of a different segment. And I think that people who have, with their eyes open, simply chosen to drop out of society, those people will always exist. Those aren't the people leaving litter and human waste on the sidewalks. Those aren't the people who are leaving needles in playgrounds. Those are the people that have ugly-looking VWs with more duct tape than aluminum left on them, hanging around in Yosemite smelling strangely of marijuana and enjoying the hell out of having nowhere to be and nothing to do. And if you want to live that way, I kind of get it, man. I'm not a fan of the rat race. But we've got people who need a little bit of help to get their feet back underneath them. And instead of helping them to get their feet back underneath them, we've got so-called homeless advocates that are poverty pimps that really just want to engender a lifetime of dependence, and they've done that successfully. And then you've got criminal vagrants. And it's people who live that lifestyle because they refuse to comply with the most basic rules of society. And somewhere in all three of these groups are people with mental illness and substance problems. And this is one of the few things I agree with Gavin Newsom on. If you are mentally ill, or if you have an addiction issue anywhere on that spectrum that has caused you to be so incapable of managing your life that you are now sleeping in your own filth in a doorway somewhere, we have an obligation as a society to go pick that person up, to get them medication, to get them cleaned up, and to give them the opportunity to once again become self-possessed. And hopefully they're of that tribe of people who at that point just need the leg up and off they go. They just needed more of a leg up. Some of those people are, it's sad because addiction is sad. It's heartbreaking. Some of those people cannot be fixed. They don't want to be fixed. They are married to their addiction. And to perpetually rescue them from themselves, eventually you're going to see them die anyways, and you've had this massive outlaying of resources. And we can debate the philosophy of whether or not society should do that, but we'll never solve homelessness doing it.
I understand and agree with what you're saying. Let me add a component to that.
Yeah.
So if we build these, 1,200 homes, okay, maybe we have given someone a place to live.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe we've got them off the street. But now is it just out of sight, out of mind? And have we really accomplished anything for the individual other than, okay, I've got a roof over my head? They still have no life, no means of support. They probably still have whatever addictions, mental challenges they're facing. They just are under a roof that the state built for them.
Yeah, they aren't upsetting the rest of society by reminding society they exist by sleeping on the bus bench. It's the only difference.
I really hate it when your cynicism is so spot on the money. Spot on.
But there is a solution. There is, as far as ending homelessness, that will never happen. As long as there is society, there will be homelessness. But in terms of correcting the course that we're on now, I have a solution. I'll explain when we get back. It's the Afternoon Drive at News Talk 580, 105.9 KMJ.
This report is sponsored by Blindster.com.
Hi, I'm Kyle at Blindster.com. Since 2010, Blindster has sold millions of custom blinds, shades, and shutters to satisfied customers across the country with 20,000 five-star reviews and an A+ rating from the Better Business Bureau. Custom blinds at low prices and free shipping. Blindster.com.
Owner of the Elbow Room.
For 25 consecutive years, the Elbow Room Wine Cellar has won Wine Spectator's Award of the Year. You've got access to wines at any price to meet your budget. Secondly, we're able to get spirits that typically you just can't find, like Blanton's and Whistle Pig, which are hugely popular. They make barrels of whiskey just for the Elbow Room.
At the Elbow Room, you can pair those wines and spirits with our incredible menu of 14 mouth-watering seafood and shellfish options, from Alaskan halibut to Australian lobster tail and more. Or treat your palate to our decadently delicious, temptingly tender, dry-aged beef. Great taste is served at the Elbow Room.
So if you're a whiskey or distilled spirits connoisseur, and if you want artisan tequila, we have unbelievable items. You're just not going to see them anywhere.
The Elbow Room in Fig Garden Village. Call 227-1234 to make your reservations.
Lately, I have been hearing some weird things from my friends, even some of you. I'll ask, what are you doing this weekend? And the response is, hey, I'm going to Lose and Look. Look at Lose and Look. And then, of course, it hits me. You're going to lose to look at Lou Rodman's patio bar stool and Amish Emporium. And for those of you who can't get there right away, go to my Facebook page, because you'll see pictures of what you'll be looking at if you go to Lose and Look. On my Facebook right now, the great handmade Amish desk sets. These are so extravagant. Order them in any stain, any wood you want. Also on my Facebook page, those very hard to get outdoor bar stools. While you're there, take a look at that beautiful handmade Amish rocker. Anything Amish can be ordered in the type of wood that you want, the color of stain. It can be personally made for you. That includes all of those dining sets. Look at my Facebook page right now. Lou Rodman's Patio, Barstool, and Amish Emporium. The inventory changes all the time. It's a brand new location across from Lowe's, right next to Fashion Furniture. I'll see you in Lose and Look.
Look at this beauty.
Nice. She's sweet. Where'd you find her?
Morris Levin & Son.
The hardware store?
Yeah, that's right. Morris Levin & Son has a firearms department, and they carry beauties just like this Sig Sauer.
What else do they carry?
Any gun that's allowed on the California roster, and if they don't have it in stock, they'll order it. They have a ton of gun accessories, too, like buffer kits, holsters, lower parts kits, scopes, and optics. I'm like a deer in the headlights the minute I walk in the door.
I've been wanting a custom firearm. Something out of the ordinary.
Well, Morris Levin & Son has a full custom shop with a knowledgeable staff and gunsmith right on the premises.
I remember my dad used to shop Morris Levin & Son when he needed a plumbing part.
I'm telling you, bro, they've got it all.
Morris Levin & Son, your local hardware store since 1934. Open 7 days a week at 1816 South K Street in Tulare.
We've got what you need to get the job done. Morris Levin & Son.
1816 South K Street, Tulare.
Listen to what Dave Ryan says about Andro 400.
Andro 400, I really love it. It's amazing to me that I feel so good. I've lost 50 pounds. I was a size 38 waist. I've gone down to a 32 waist. My mood has changed. I don't get stressed out. It gave me so much more energy to walk, energy to play sports. Everything is starting to work again, and feels like I'm 25. My wife is happy. I'm so happy. I'm just a completely different man. I'm taking this stuff to the grave with me.
Men, have you lost energy and gained belly fat? Are you feeling stressed out? Fight back with Andro 400, the safe, natural, and inexpensive way to increase your testosterone. For over a decade, Andro 400 has helped men lose belly fat, gain energy, and feel 20 years younger. Go to andro400.com. andro400.com or call 888-400-0435. 888-400-0435.
All right, hit it. Let's hope to Christ this works. California love.
News Talk 580 and 105.9 KMJ. This is the afternoon drive. My name's E. Curtis Johnson. That's Philip Teresi. Cartman, right?
Eric Cartman.
Yeah, from South Park.
Yeah, it's all four of the boys on a bus that looks like it was outfitted for moving through the land of the Walking Dead. And they changed the marquee to California.
Yeah, there you have it. So if you just joined us, Governor Newsom has announced a big plan for the homeless. He's going to build 500 units in L.A., 350 units in Sacramento, 200 in San Jose, and 150 units in San Diego County. And the first time I ever encountered the homeless was when I was 11.
Oh, really?
Yeah, my grew up in northwestern Montana. It's about 180 miles from Spokane, Washington. So one of my sisters got sick. They had young kids. So for half of fifth grade, my mom, she and I went to Spokane to help kind of take care of my sister and get her rehabilitated. Well, they lived in the neighborhood of Spokane called Hilliard, named after Hill, who was the guy who built the Great Northern Railroad.
Okay.
So there was an alley between the big apartment complex we lived in and a bakery, and then behind us was the train tracks and a train station. It was an old-fashioned train depot, kind of like what we have in downtown Fresno. Well, we called them by the non-politically correct terms during the day, which was bums.
Yeah.
And I've discovered that for its era, again, I'm 11 years old, but I've always been pretty observant. It was always men.
Yeah.
Generally middle-aged to older men. It wasn't until I came to California you start seeing, younger people that are homeless, a lot of women that are homeless, and it's unavoidable. Unavoidable in the sense that you can't not see it. I mean, driving home down Shaw last night, there's 2 tents in front of Office Depot.
Yeah.
And I'm going, holy cow.
Yeah.
I've seen this downtown, seen it in the tower plenty of times, but now it's on Shaw.
No, it's all over town. If you go out to the walking trails that lead you from Woodward Park ultimately to Old Town Clovis, you will encounter people who live along those trails. Now, because of the amount of folks who move around on them during the day, most of these guys feel compelled to get up and get out of the way. But Maple and Shepherd, Selma Lane Park, this is a upper middle class neighborhood. These are houses selling for $500,000 at an entry level. And they had a real problem with that park, with homeless basically living in the bathrooms. And that was a couple of years ago, but you can't exist in society and not see it anymore. And there is something that we can do that will fix my guess is the majority of this.
Okay, so Philip Teresi, you are now the governor of the state of California. What are you going to do to fix this?
I'm going to fix our education system. What we have in California, the deterioration of standards, the deterioration of self-worth, the sense of entitlement, the comfort with having so little, the lack of motivation to contribute to society or to one's own well-being, all of this goes back to, parenting first and foremost.
Yeah, that's a given.
But immediately after parenting is an education system that does not hold any barrier for any child. We socially promote everybody. We've been talking about this. Fresno Unified. You've got juniors in high school. You are a year from graduation. 9% are able to work in math at grade level. 17% can read at grade level. This is the third largest school district inside the world's fourth largest economy, and the kids can't read or write, but they're going to graduate next year and go to Disneyland. And then they're going to go live outside Disneyland on the sidewalk because that's all they know how to do. We've got to reinvest in education, real education, and we've got to allow for there to be not punishment, but the natural consequence of not succeeding, of not mastering the material. If you fail a grade, you repeat a grade.
Well, you're closer to education than I am, so I could see why you would say that. But let me be the curmudgeon here for a second.
Yeah.
All right, Governor Teresi, that's fine for, wow, did I just say that, Governor Teresi? Yes, I did. That's fine for 18 years from now.
Yeah.
But in the meantime, until you're first re-educated, now responsible graduate of the California public education system, you got 18 years before your first student comes out of your I don't want to say indoctrination, that's not the right word, education. We'll call it education. So now you've trained this first graduate to be a responsible member of society who's always going to be self-sufficient. But what do we do in that 18 years in the interim while we have homeless encampments on Shaw?
You can't have benefits unless you're accepting services or education.
Okay. So the benefits, the education would be what?
Well, once again, we get into that kind of the slices of what is homeless today. And that ranges from the person who just had a run of bad luck, who'd been living paycheck to paycheck, and finally made the wrong choice when it was a toss-up between eating, paying PG&E, or coming up with rent money. That person needs very, very little to get back to on their own 2 feet.
Okay, so it makes sense. Not all homeless are the same.
Yeah, then you've got the mentally ill and the drug addicts who there's something wrong, and they need help. They need intense help. And then you've got the dropouts, the drifters, the kids in Oakhurst with their patchouli and their hemp backpacks that aren't really homeless. They just don't have a house. They live in their van and drive around the country and don't participate in the rat race. And then you've got the criminal vagrants. For 3/4 of that spectrum, we've got the ability to say, okay, let's learn a trade. Let's get our GED. Let's learn to function. Let's make sure you've got skills that put you in the marketplace of jobs. And if that's not something that you can do now because you're mentally ill or you're a drug addict, we're going to treat that illness. And I believe that addiction is an illness. I believe that it's an electrochemical failure in the brain to treat substances normally.
Yeah, I would totally agree.
So we're going to treat your illness. Then we'll go back to that square one where we teach you how to do something that you can feed yourself with. For the drifters, for the hippies, if you're happy and you're not taking resources from society, have fun. Like I said, there's a little piece of me that kind of envies that. There's a little piece of me that just wants to go spend a year hiking the Appalachian Trail. So I get that. And if you're not taking from society living that way, God bless you. Have fun. And for the criminal vagrants, when you do criminal stuff, we're going to charge you, we're going to prosecute you, we're going to punish you. And between actually enforcing the laws, actually effectively helping people to learn how to stand on their own 2 feet, whether we're starting from, oh my God, I just need a job, or we're starting from, oh my God, I got to kick heroin. Most of this clears itself up well before those kids that are just going into kindergarten this year graduate at 18, knowing how to read, knowing how to write, knowing how to do basic math, and having the skills required to either pick a trade school, pick a college, or go to work. There is no instant fix. There's nothing we can do to make it right immediately because we didn't get here immediately. But we can fix homelessness in 20 years.
Well, that's a great plan. And when you decide to run for governor, I'll vote for you. In the meantime, though, now that we've got 120 units across the whole state of California, is Governor Newsom on the right track for his start here?
No, Governor Newsom's engaging in a PR campaign for his bid for president.
Once again, I really hate it when you're right.
That's E. Curtis Johnson. I'm Philip Teresi, and a very, very patient Liz Kern stands by in the KMJ newsroom.
KMJ News now.
This just into the newsroom. Hunter Biden has formally launched a counter lawsuit against the Delaware computer repair shop owner who handed over his alleged laptop to prominent right-wing figures like Rudy Giuliani. Fox News learning the New York State court system preparing for security logistics in the event that former President Donald Trump is indicted next week. Fox's Jessica Rosenthal has more.
A New York State court source tells Fox News the district attorney of Manhattan has requested a meeting with law enforcement to go over security logistics at the courthouse in Manhattan in anticipation of indicting former President Trump. Trump's former attorney Michael Cohen paid former porn star Stormy Daniels money to keep quiet about an affair she says she had with President Trump. He has denied having an affair. When the Trump organization reimbursed Cohen, it was recorded as a legal expense, but federal prosecutors said it was really an illegal campaign contribution from Cohen. An attorney for the former president says he did nothing wrong here and that this is a witch hunt brought by a radical left prosecutor. Jessica Rosenthal, Fox News.
The LA Unified School District is making plans to deal with the impacts of a 3-day strike by support staffers. It's set to begin early next week. Fox 11's Susan Hirasuna has the story.
We are united!
Wednesday, members and supporters of Local 99 SEIU held a massive rally in LA's Grand Park. Members demand a 30% pay raise with an across-the-board $2 an hour increase. The union claims a survey of members found 1 in 3 school workers were unhoused or at risk of becoming unhoused while working at LAUSD. Superintendent Alberto Carvalho.
We currently have a 15% offer on the table for SEIU employees in addition to 10% cash in hand. That is the highest level compensation offer in the history of this system.
Today, the day to celebrate the wearing o' the green and all things Irish, St. Patrick's Day.
St. Patrick's Day is being celebrated today in lots of ways, including the big traditional parade in New York City. Organizers say 2 million spectators are expected to line Fifth Avenue and watch the marchers, bands, and bagpipes. Some cities celebrated St. Patrick's a little early with parades last weekend, like Boston, where it's traditionally held on the Sunday closest to March 17th, and Chicago, where it always occurs on a Saturday. Tanya J. Powers, Fox News.
On Wall Street today, the Dow ended down 384 points, closing at 31,861. The S&P 500 lost 43 points. NASDAQ dropped 86. 2:38 at KMJ. Valley weather right now, sunny and 66 at Radio City. Fox 26's Justin Willis has more of our Friday forecast.
Slight chance of rain Sunday before the next major storm moves in Monday. This one should last until Wednesday, with it dropping up to 2 inches of rain on the valley floor and up to 6 inches in the mountains. Keep an eye out for flood watches as we start next week. Otherwise, a pretty nice St. Patrick's Day afternoon, with valley highs right around normal in the upper 60s and increasing clouds. Overnight lows are in the 40s. For KMJ from the Fox 26 Weather Center, I'm Justin Willis.
With news on the hour, on the half, and when it breaks, and always streaming at KMJNow.com. I'm Liz Kern, News Talk 580, 105.9 KMJ.
This report is sponsored by Blindster.com.
Hi, I'm Kyle at Blindster.com, and I sell custom blinds designed for do-it-yourselfers. Unlike stock blinds offered at big box retailers, Blindster blinds are custom made for your windows and shipping is free. Don't hire an expensive pro. Do it yourself and save big at Blindster.com.
Cashback is not available on gas in New Jersey and Wisconsin.
Susan, I'm sorry I'm late. Traffic is terrible.
It sure is. But on top of that, gas prices have been skyrocketing. I can't believe how expensive gas has gotten recently.
Prices at the pump are up, but I never pay full price for gas anymore. I just use the free Upside app that pays you cash back for every gallon of gas you buy.
Wait a minute. Are you saying you actually get paid cash when you buy gas with the Upside app?
Yes, I get real cash back every time I buy gas.
And does that actually add up to anything?
I've made around $200.
Wow, that's serious extra cash. I'm downloading the free Upside app now.
Download the free Upside app to earn real cash back every time you buy gas. Use promo code BEST for an extra 25 cents per gallon cash back on your first fill-up. You can cash out anytime right to your bank account, to PayPal, or an e-gift card for Amazon and other brands. Just download the free Upside app and use promo code BEST for a 25 cents per gallon bonus on your first tank. That's code BEST for 25 cents per gallon cash back on your first fill-up.
Are you a Medicare beneficiary or about to become one and you don't know where to turn for help? Call HICAP, the Health Insurance Counseling and Advocacy Program, a program at Valley Caregiver Resource Center, providing registered counselors that can help with all things Medicare. At HICAP, we often hear,
"Had I known about you sooner,"
and
"Nobody told me about penalties,"
or
"I stopped taking my medication because I couldn't afford it."
HICAP is a local nonprofit organization. Our services are free and we don't sell anything. Call for a one-on-one counseling appointment, whether in person, over the phone, or virtual. Our counselors will listen to your Medicare needs and clearly present your options. Learn to be confident in your Medicare coverage. Our HICAP team is happy to present to community and retiree groups. Presentations are free and scheduled year-round. Call 559-224-9117. That number again, 224-9117.
This report is sponsored by Jackson Hewitt. Hurry into Jackson Hewitt for 50% off tax prep. But do it before April 9th. Limited time offer for new clients filing at participating locations. Max savings $200. Visit jacksonhewitt.com/50 for terms.
Stop by Thomas & Tractor Company in Fireball and visit their large showroom of John Deere merchandise, from parts, toys, hats, safes, and apparel. They're also a full area dealer with boots and clothing.
Get All-Britain's complete furnace revitalization. Ah, man, this is tough.
Not bad. Maybe a little more on the zation.
Online at allbritain.com.
Mark Saturday, March 25th for the Tesoro Viejo Community-Wide Open House. To celebrate our Gold Award as the nation's Community of the Year by the National Association of Home Builders, we're inviting you to join us Saturday, March 25th from 11 a.m. to 3 p.m. Come tour all our amenities, enter to win prizes, enjoy food trucks, and see 17 model homes from our 3 acclaimed builders. Located at Highway 41 and Avenue 15, minutes north of River Park. For more, visit TesoroViejo.com.
News Talk 580 and 105.9 KMJ. This is the Afternoon Drive. My name is E. Curtis Johnson. This is Philip Teresi. And it's St. Patty's Day. I kind of like what our president has given to us. It's like a St. Patrick's Day present. I didn't know there was such a thing as a St. Patrick's Day present, but there is.
It could only come from a man who could manage to say something offensive to one of the last two groups of people that are otherwise impossible to offend.
Yeah. Yes, when you can offend the Irish, you've really reached a new low water mark.
Oh my God. This was a hell of a thing to pop off with. So he was addressing in part this he was talking to this crowd, and he got into this I've been to Ireland many times train of thought, and he went sorry guys, I didn't mean to put the Murphys in your ear quite that loud, but sometimes I wonder if Joe Biden realizes he's the president and not a stand-up.
No, he doesn't. He doesn't realize that he's not as hip, funny, or entertaining or informative as he thinks he is. And I think some of this would be explainable if you've ever been to Delaware.
Great.
Delaware is the most nondescript place ever.
Is this just a guy who lacks well, listen to the words as they come out of Joe Biden's mouth.
When I went over to Ireland, it was a great experience. I'd been to Ireland many times, but not to actually look up to find my actual family members. And there were so many, and they actually weren't in jail. They were all, but all kidding aside, I met the Blewitts and the Finnegans and all of the folks who we were related to. Spent 6 days there, and one of the things that and the Finnegans were from County Louth, and there's still, if you go to County Louth, there's still a place called Finnegan's Pub, which is Reverend, it's related to my family. Now, I'm the only Irishman you've ever met, though, that's never had a drink, so I'm okay. I'm really.
So he's not really Irish because he's sober and his relatives aren't in jail yet.
Yeah, there's always Hunter, hopefully.
He got a little chuckle out of the crowd. I don't know. I'm torn. I mean, is this offensive? Is there any actual Irish person in the world who heard this and thought anything other than, oh, thank God he's not one of ours?
As I said earlier, I've got a tiny bit of Irish in me, so I claim the right to make fun of my heritage on St. Patrick's Day. I'm in the club, and this really isn't any different than President Biden's shtick that he's been doing since the mid-'70s. I mean, he has not earned the Gaff Master by accident. I mean, he has worked towards it. This is just the constant pattern of what he does. I have a theory why that I'll explain later.
I have a little bit of a theory, too, and I think that part of it is Joe Biden has something in his head that I have in my head, and it is an instinctive and unconscious drive to say the worst possible thing for the situation you're in, because his I'm not really Irish because I'm sober and my family's not in jail shtick was delivered while at the annual Friends of Ireland luncheon at the Capitol.
See, but I'm not offended by that. And I'm offended by most things that Joe Biden says, not because it hurts my feelings, but just because he's a lunatic and it's sometimes a moron.
Any points for having the sheer insanity to walk into that room and tell that joke in front of that crowd?
Yes. As a guy who's made a living of being obnoxious on the radio, this is one time I'm actually kind of bully for go.
This report is sponsored by Blindster.com.
Hi, I'm Kyle at Blindster.com. Shopping for new blinds? At Blindster, we offer over 50 different blinds, shades, and shutters at low prices, custom made for your windows, and shipping is free. Shop at home and order 10 free samples of any product before you buy. Blindster.com.
Yorazani, the gold nut, is a recently released self-fertile almond by the USDA. Yorazani has been field tested statewide and is a top performer in the regional almond variety trials. Yorazani is a standout performer in both quality and production. Yorazani almond trees are available from Duarte Nursery for your plantings now. Duarte Nursery has all of the best rootstocks, including Bright's Hybrid 5 and Krimsk 86 available. Learn about Duarte Nursery's new and improved pistachio program. Duarte Nursery pistachios are bigger with the new Moon Unit budded trees. Crop years ahead. Save pre-productive time and several acre-feet of water by planting Moon Units. The new Vigor Clone rootstocks establish faster, come into production faster, and plateau at higher production levels than standard pistachio rootstocks. Duarte Nursery has several budded pistachio tree formats available, including the Moon Units for 2022 and 2023 spring planting. Talk to your Duarte Nursery field rep today.
Lately, I have been hearing some weird things from my friends, even some of you. I'll ask, what are you doing this weekend? And the response is, hey, I'm going to Lose and Look. I get Lose and Look. And then, of course, it hits me. You're going to lose to look at Lou Rodman's patio, barstool, and Amish Emporium. And for those of you who can't get there right away, go to my Facebook page because you'll see pictures of what you'll be looking at if you go to Lose and Look. On my Facebook right now, the great handmade Amish desk sets. These are so extravagant. Order them in any stain, any wood you want. Also on my Facebook page, those very hard to get outdoor bar stools. While you're there, take a look at that beautiful handmade Amish rocker. Anything Amish can be ordered in the type of wood that you want, the color of stain. It can be personally made for you. That includes all of those dining sets. Look at my Facebook page right now. Lou Rodman's Patio, Barstool, and Amish Emporium. The inventory changes all the time. It's a brand new location across from Lowe's, right next to Fashion Furniture. I'll see you in Lose and Look.
Guys, are you tired of being tired? Frustrated because it seems impossible to lose belly fat? If you're looking for a solution, then listen to Mark.
I had fantastic results with the Andro 400 Max. Probably lost 35 pounds, and more impressive than that was the inches I lost off of my belly and my waist. And the increased energy is fantastic. I'll be totally honest, I tried a different product, and I wasn't happy with the different product. You guys are considerably cheaper than the other brand, and I can really feel the difference.
Andro 400 Max, the extra strength, all natural testosterone booster. The safe, easy, and affordable way to gain energy and lose stubborn belly fat. Satisfaction guaranteed or your money back. Feel and look like a new man. Go to andro400.com or call 888-400-0435. 888-400-0435.
United Health Centers in Kingsburg is accepting new patients. We welcome you to make a medical appointment at this beautiful new health center located in downtown Kingsburg on 1251 Draper Street. Our providers care for patients of all ages and offer pediatric services to help your family be as healthy as possible. Call us today at 1-800-492-4227. 1-800-492-4227. United Health Centers. Wellness for a lifetime.
Covering everything from lab leaks to political freaks. We're all over it at News Talk 580 1059 KMJ.
News Talk 580 and 1059 KMJ. Thank you for listening to the Afternoon Drive. That is Philip Teresi. I'm E. Curtis Johnson. Trying to help Philip understand why I'm actually a fan of the president now. Which, I never thought I would say that. Who are you and what have you done with E. Curtis Johnson? But so if you just tuned in, the president, while celebrating St. Patrick's Day, made some, I don't even want to call them off color. They're kind of old man jokes, the kind of thing that you would say in a bar.
Sure.
Like, for example, he says, I've been to Ireland many times, and I'd see some of my relatives when I was there if they weren't in jail. That sort of thing. The Irish stereotypical jokes. But here's why I think Joe Biden is the way he is. And if you've ever been to Delaware, I think you would understand this. Delaware is flat. It's pretty much all farmland. It is completely nondescript. So think of the San Joaquin Valley without the coastal range and without the Sierra to the east. It's just flat. I mean, it could be, quite frankly, it could be Nebraska somewhere. Just very plain, very nondescript. The people are quiet and polite. So here's Joe, who's been a senator from that state since the mid-'70s. He's the BMOC. He's the big man on campus. And when he visits Delaware, which is a tiny, tiny state, you can practically walk across Delaware in a day.
Oh, wow. Okay.
So when he comes home, he's like a superstar. And he has become so comfortable in his stardom that I think that's part of the reason why he comes off so unhinged sometimes and why he says the just rudest, most blunt, inappropriate things that anyone could possibly say. It's because he's treated like a star from his home state of Delaware.
He's Al Bundy at the high school reunion.
Wow. That's a good way to put it. Yeah, he's Al Bundy at the high school reunion.
I'm always torn because there's a part of me that genuinely listens to the goofy stuff that he says and responds with, are we really going to dump on this old guy who thinks that he's telling a compelling story, who thinks that he's making some profound point? Last week, it was this bizarre story of riding into the city with his dad in like 1964 and getting out of the car at his dad's office and seeing two well-dressed guys in business suits giving each other a peck on the lips before going about their days. And little Joey realizing, oh my God, those two men are together. And the story of his dad going, it's simple, Joey. They love each other. Well, sure, in 2023, I can imagine that conversation happening. Is there any chance that when Joe Biden was in high school, his dad, who would have been born sometime during the First World War, had that kind of perspective?
No, that is just another one of those bald-faced lies that the president has made up to make a point on some current event.
In other words, he's a storyteller. The problem is he's a storyteller with too big of an audience to tell those kinds of stories and remain credible. And there's a part of me that says, well, you want to pick on the old man. And then there's a part of me that goes, but he's the president of the United States, for God's sakes. I know there's people that think that he's a villain. I don't think there's enough there for villainy. I really think that he's this guy. I think the kindest thing that we can do is fire him in 2024 so he can go sit on his porch in his rocker and tell these jokes.
I agree with that. Yes, sir.
Missed part of the show? Get the Afternoon Drive podcast at KMJNow.com or by searching KMJ's Afternoon Drive in Apple Podcasts or Spotify.
Come on.
Hey there, Charlie. You look down. What's up?
That steam cleaner's busted. Again.
Jeez, I don't know what you plan to do, but you need to get it fixed right this time.
Thought we were getting it fixed right the last time.
Well, have you tried calling A&E?
Well, I didn't buy it from A&E.
Doesn't matter. A&E can get it fixed, no matter where you got it. From what I heard, they're the best.
Oh, good to know.
Hey, call A&E. They'll get out here and get us back up and running right away. And maybe it's time to get a new steam cleaner. Go by there and get a look at their selection.
A&E Pressure Washers on the 99 between North and Cedar, just south of Kuchenbecker Tractor. Look for the big blue sign. For water recycling systems, steam cleaners, and of course, pressure washers, give A&E a call at 275-3891 or visit aefresno.com. And for your service needs, no matter where you bought it, call A&E at 275-3891. 275-3891.
Well, that's it. Put a fork in us, we're done. Arrivederci, sayonara, we'll catch you on the flip side. Robinson's Home Furnishings at River Park is going out of business. After almost 23 years serving this wonderful community, our owner is retiring. And no, he's not relaxing. He'll be spending more time as a newly elected Kings County supervisor. As you know, with going out of business sales, the savings are monumental and everything must go. come one, come all for the absolute best lines in the furniture industry before they're gone. From Hooker Furniture to Braddington Young to Century to Stickley, they're all here for your selection. And yes, special orders are available. We will be delivering each and every one as they arrive over the next several months. Robinson's Home Furnishings at River Park, 110 East Alluvial, Fresno. The final sale with savings of up to 50% off MSRP. Hurry before we're gone. We love you, Fresno, Madera, Kings, and Tulare counties. Thank you for the decades of support. We will miss you.
Discount taken from the manufacturer's suggested retail price.
Welcome back to Solar Squabble. Leo here is about to name a community that Solar4U's experts are from. So, Leo?
Fresno.
Not likely.
How about Clovis?
Nope. Top answer on the board is outsourced from wherever.
Well, that's unfortunate because the best work comes right from the people in our own communities, like at Energy Concepts. We've been here over 30 years and are the highest rated SunPower elite dealer in the valley. Staying local? Now that's a power move.
Shop and swap at Selma Auto Mall this weekend. Over 600 vehicles on site to shop from. Get a free appraisal on your trade. Get top dollar or roll into a new purchase. 11 new car brands and the largest inventory of quality pre-owned cars in the valley. If you're headed to the Selma Swap event, stop at the Selma Auto Mall. Shop and swap. Tacos and churros are free for the family this Sunday. The massive Selma Auto Mall, Highway 99 and 43. Why buy anywhere else?
Selma Swap, buy or sell cars, parts, and big boy toys. March 18th, Highway 99 at Mountain View, 6 a.m. to 3 p.m., rain or shine. SelmaSwap.com.
The original KMJ, 580 AM, 1059 FM, Fresno, a Cumulus media station.
3 o'clock in Fresno. Good afternoon. I'm Joe Miller here in the KMJ News Center. A preliminary hearing continues today after a woman accused of killing a Fresno teen found to have prescription drugs in her system. A toxicologist testified the results yesterday during a preliminary hearing. Lisa Spores is facing murder and other charges for a crash that killed the 15-year-old boy. Doctors said the drugs in her system are used for the treatment of ADHD and anxiety. A man who was reported missing found dead Thursday. Fresno County Sheriff's Department says a search team found the body of 34-year-old Pedro Perez near a commercial property. They say they don't suspect any violent activity happening before his death. Perez reported missing March the 1st. Evacuation orders issued in Tulare County near the Tule River. Orders were issued yesterday for all homes and businesses. An evacuation center was set up in Porterville College. Feel like jumping at a lake for a good cause? Grab a costume because the annual Fresno Polar Plunge takes place this Saturday at Millerton Lake. KMJ's Liz Kern has more.
The Polar Plunge starts at 10 a.m. and runs until 1:30. All proceeds are benefiting Special Olympics Northern California. It provides sports, education, leadership, and health programs to children and adults with intellectual disabilities. The Fresno County Sheriff's Office says several Valley law enforcement agencies are taking part to support the event. Anyone wishing to contribute can learn more by visiting our website, KMJ Now, with a link. Liz Kern, KMJ News.
Yosemite National Park set to reopen this weekend after nearly 3 weeks of closure. Crews working on clearing rock slides due to the recent storms. The park will open with limited services tomorrow from sunrise to sunset. The only route to the park is through El Portal Road. Big Oak Flat and Wawona roads are going to be closed. Russia's President Vladimir Putin had a warrant issued against him today by the International Criminal Court, days away from a meeting with Chinese President Xi Jinping Monday. Fox's Jillian Turner at the White House with more.
He is now trapped inside Russia for the foreseeable future. That freedom of movement he's enjoyed ever since he launched the invasion into Ukraine last year is now firmly over. President Xi, who is free to travel, is going to go to Moscow to meet with Putin. This is a major show of support. The White House says this meeting is just one part of a much bigger plan between the two countries. If China does supply lethal aid to Russian forces, they will be aiding and abetting a wanted war criminal. Now, the decisions of the International Criminal Court, according to Russia's spokesperson, quote, has no meaning for our country, including from a legal point of view.
Now the forecast from Fox 26 is Justin Willis.
A fairly nice St. Patrick's Day afternoon with valley highs right about normal in the upper 60s and increasing clouds. Overnight lows are in the 40s. Slight chance of rain Sunday before the next major storm moves in Monday. This one should last until Wednesday, with it dropping up up to 2 inches on the valley floor and up to 6 inches of rain in the mountains. Keep an eye out for flood watches as we start next week. From the Fox 26 Weather Center for KMJ, I'm Justin Willis.
With news on the hour, on the half, and when it breaks, and always streaming at KMJNow.com, I'm Jim Miller for News Talk 580, 105.9 KMJ.
And taking a look at Friday traffic, northbound 99 around Tipton, the cars have all just almost come to an almost standstill. Almost, still creeping along. North Marks and West Dudley in Fresno, a collision with no injuries. Also in Fresno, southbound 41, McKinley off-ramp, a collision with unknown injuries. Also in Tulare County Avenue 168, Road 128, there is a jackknife semi causing traffic problems there. With KMJ Traffic, I'm Ron McCary.
Commercial Radiator, your full-service repair shop for large industrial radiators, ag equipment, or to keep your fleet on the road. That's Commercial Radiator.
This is KMJ's Afternoon Drive with Philip Teresi and E. Curtis Johnson.
Your calls, your tweets, and your voice are welcome right now.
All right.
News Talk 580 and 105.9 KMJ. This is the Afternoon Drive. My name is E. Curtis Johnson. That is Philip Teresi. And, our Veep got an unpleasant surprise at her alma mater, of all things. She was in Des Moines, Iowa yesterday, where she graduated from Howard University. She was there to see her alma mater try and take another step in the NCAA basketball tournament that's there. She was at Wells Fargo Arena in Des Moines, and when Harris appeared on the video screen, she got an icy reception.
Yeah.
According to multiple reports, the boos outweighed the cheers from the audience in attendance. After the game, the Veep got a chance to give the downtrodden Bison a pep talk in their locker room. This is what she said. She said, "You played hard. You played to the very last second. You made all us Bison proud. You are very smart. You are disciplined. You put everything you had into the game. You guys did not stop, and that is so inspiring. So you keep playing. You chin up with your shoulders back because you showed the world who Bison are." And then she cackled like a hyena. No, okay, I made the cackling like a hyena part up.
Now, for those of you that are unclear, the way that E just read that had more warmth and sincerity and enthusiasm in it than the vice president herself.
You guys are so good. You guys are so good. You played hard. You played to the very last second. You made all us Bison so proud. You hustled out there. You are smart.
Did she watch the game?
You put
Apparently
everything you
not.
had into the game.
This, by the way, goes on for another 90 seconds. Number one comment, every team that loses should have to listen to this as a punishment.
Now, this may shock some KMJ listeners, but I think it was wrong to boo the vice president.
As opposed to throwing tomatoes?
Well, here's why I think it was wrong to boo the vice president. The opposite of love is not hate. The opposite of love is indifference and silence.
That would have been more impactful.
Yes, silence in my opinion, is the preferred response to someone who you don't like.
I agree, and that would be my choice. It's college kids. It's basketball fans. Isn't there a little bit of a get out of our house attitude there?
Oh, sure. And I'm not coming down on the fans because they didn't they didn't choose my preferred way of protesting. You know, you're right. It's a basketball game, for crying out loud. It's the March Madness. Of course they're going to be worked up. Of course they're going to want to scream because that's what they've been doing the whole game.
Greg Price checks in. I feel bad for these guys. They lost the game. Then they had to be subjected to her speech. Clayton Kearns, after losing in the NC2A tournament, The team had to get a locker room speech from Kamala Harris. You can literally feel the cringe in the room. She really has accomplished what I had previously thought was a glass ceiling that would never be broken. She has rendered Hillary Clinton the second least likable person in American politics.
Oh my gosh, Hillary's been dethroned.
Yeah.
You're right. I never thought of that, but you are absolutely right.
Do you think, and I know that we're still a little ways out, and I know that right now it's very much Joe Biden saying he's going to continue on and run and would like to serve another 4 years. I don't think realistically that Joe Biden's health is going to hold out for that. And I'm not joking. I just don't think that he's got enough gas in the tank to pull it off. Even if he thinks he's got enough gas in the tank, I don't think he's got it.
He doesn't.
At some point, the Democrats are going to have to confront that. And they're going to have to pick somebody to turn up in the primary. They can't put Kamala Harris in there. This woman couldn't win an election for dog catcher. I mean, looking at the photo of her and her husband sitting in the booth, I don't even think that she could win an election for favorite spouse in her own household.
Wow.
I mean, look at how they're sitting together. My wife and I, going out in public, have never sat that far apart unless we had a child between us.
Okay, for the sake of discussion, that could be just a bad camera angle.
Okay.
It could be that maybe, she had a bucket of popcorn on the seat in between them. There could be a number of different reasons why they're sitting apart.
To support my speculation.
All right.
Second gentleman, Doug Emhoff, is double fisting his drinks.
Maybe he was double fisting his drinks the second week after they were married.
I think he was double fisting his drinks when he agreed to get married.
Wow, we're being mean today.
I don't see. There's two reasons that I'm comfortable picking on her. Because honest to God, it has nothing to do with the fact that our vice president's a woman. It has nothing to do with the fact that Ms. Harris is a person of color. Those reasons do not factor into this for me one iota. I've got a friend who worked Secret Service and who dealt with the Obamas, who dealt with the Trumps, and who very early on dealt with the Biden administration.
Tell more.
And it was remarkable to hear the differences because I'm curious about that behind the scenes. Like, you see these people and you hear these stories, and the media has all of these opinions, just like us do. 99% of the people who have an opinion about Barack and Michelle, about Donald and Melania, about Kamala and Doug have never met them, will never meet them, have never even been in a room with them. So I'm fascinated by what were these people actually like when the cameras are off and the dignitaries have gone home and you're the driver. What are these people actually like? And what he said was the Obamas and the Trumps were different. The Trumps were obviously much more comfortable having staff. So the Obamas kind of did that thing that people who didn't grow up with staff do, where they actually engage and can kind of get personal. Not that that's a bad thing. Whereas the Trumps were a little bit more impersonal, but also were professional and polite. He didn't have a bad word to say. They said Melania was lovely, and that Donald was a businessman doing business, but he wasn't rude. He wasn't dismissive. He just wasn't necessarily going to stop and have a 10-minute conversation about the kids. They say that President and Dr. Biden are agreeable people. And then there's this broad. She's not polite. She's not nice. She isn't appreciative. She treats Secret Service like they're her personal porters. And that speaks volumes because you've got 3 administrations. You've got 6 different couples And people who are portrayed, depending upon what channel you watch and what host you listen to, people who are portrayed in wildly different ways. And only one of them generates any kind of discomfort or complaint out of that whole all these foreign dignitaries that come through, because Secret Service has to deal with them and their security and all of that. One person is like, oh, I would, no. Well, any of these other people called these guys up and said, hey, let's go have a cup of coffee or play a round of golf. Sir, yes, sir, be right there. This one, no. She's not nice. And this going in and the stilted pep talk and the awkward laugh, it's all BS for a camera. And I think that failure of authenticity bleeds through. So I am comfortable saying, picking on her a little bit, because I wouldn't pick on Melania like this.
Okay, fair enough. Can we throw Rotten Tomatoes also?
Man, if it wasn't for the fact that I know this dude would tackle me and smack me with a shoe for doing it.
Okay, all right. Let me walk that one back. You're right. She is the Vice President of the United States. She does have a contingent of Secret Service, Secret Service guys.
The professionals, yeah.
Yeah, they're professionals. Yeah, throwing Rotten Tomatoes. Okay, that was just an offhanded comment.
But yeah, I just 3 administrations, one person gets the eye roll. It's amazing to me, and to hear the way the Obamas and the Trumps behaved. Mike Pence. They said Mike Pence was very, very nice. He was very polite. The comparison that some of the older guys who had rotated through, they compared Pence and oh golly, I'm forgetting Mike Pence's wife's name.
Mrs. Pence?
Mrs. Pence, yeah.
Yes.
I can remember Laura Bush, but I can't remember Mrs. Pence's name.
Me either, so it's all right.
But they compared the Pences to the Bushes in terms of like how they were to work with and how they were as protectees. That you had these folks who were actually like really down to earth, really warm people who just never got a fair break in the media. Mike Pence is always portrayed as this like super uptight, stick up the backside, rigid guy. And I said, no, behind closed doors, he's like, business is business, but he was very warm, very pleasant. Mrs. Pence was very concerned with the people, just like Mrs. Bush was. I mean, the Bushes are still baking cakes and showing up at the airport down there in Texas to welcome home troops when they were coming back from deployment up until we pulled out of Afghanistan.
Well, your narrative makes sense and it sounds authentic. In that you could see a guy like Donald Trump, who's been a businessman his whole life. He's used to telling people what to do.
Yeah.
And his personality, that makes perfect sense that he might not be the warmest, most friendliest person, but he's not being rude. It would make sense that he's treating the Secret Service agents like employees, because in his world, that's what they are.
He was congenial but impersonal, which makes perfect sense for a guy who's used to having staff. You interact differently when you know what it's like to have a butler. And the Secret Service is absolutely not a pack of butlers, but somebody who's accustomed to that person's here for a purpose and it's not relevant to what I'm doing now, acts differently than somebody whose highest level of personal service is a waitress.
So I had a neighbor back in the early 80s who had been a Secret Service agent.
Yeah.
And he had served during the latter part of the Ford administration and then hung around a little bit into the Carter administration. He was assigned to guard, protect Susan Ford, President Ford's daughter.
Yeah.
And so here you've got, Gerald Ford, a congressman, boots on the ground kind of guy, very non-pretentious. So he described the Fords much like the way he described Jimmy and Rosalind Carter. They hadn't been at the national level of politics very long.
Yeah.
And he said it was sometimes almost distracting of how friendly Mr. and Mrs. Carter were and how friendly President Ford was.
Yeah.
So it makes sense when you have this other friend of yours describing how people would treat Secret Service agents depending upon their own backgrounds.
Yeah.
That makes perfect sense.
Yeah, and unfortunately you have this person who has almost magically risen meteorically through politics, who is only interested in rising meteorically through politics. The Democrats are out of their minds if they try and run her, because that inauthenticity, that, you know, Fox News especially, they harp on the laugh, the weird, bad, fake laugh. I am convinced that beyond any other trait, American people can smell somebody who is being insincere. Even if they can't put their finger on it, they know it's there.
Well stated.
It's the Afternoon Drive at News Talk 580, 105.9 KMJ. E. Curtis Johnson, Philip Teresi. We've talked a lot this week about the collapse of Silicon Valley Bank and some of the predictions and apprehension around that. When we get back, economist Paul Krugman checks in. He's got a take on this that you might be glad to hear.
And taking a look at our Friday afternoon traffic, North Cornelia and West McKinley in the western part of Fresno. Lots of vehicles parked on the side of the road with some jutting into the lanes. Westbound 198 at Highway 43, a collision, unknown injuries there. Northbound 99 from Tipton north a couple of miles. There's a lot of congestion in North Marks and West Dudley, also west of Fresno proper, a collision with no injuries. KMJ Traffic, I'm Ron McCary.
This report is sponsored by Dell Technologies.
The Dell Technologies semi-annual sale starts now with savings on select PCs powered by the latest 12th Gen Intel Core processors. Plus, get deals on select accessories and free shipping on everything. Save now by calling 877-ASK-DELL.
On December 15th, the Public Utilities Commission announced the biggest change to solar ever, NEM 3.0. And it's bad news for any farmer or business who has not gone solar already. But Pickett Solar, the Valley's leading commercial solar contractor, is here to help. It's called Net Energy Metering, or NEM. And under the current version, it's what makes solar such a great investment. With the newly passed NEM 3.0, the utilities will continue to keep raising your rates, will pay you less, and keep the profits for themselves. The value of solar will drop by 75%, and the payback period will go from 2 to 3 years to more than 10 years. There is still time to lock in the value of solar before this change happens. The deadline for NEM 2.0 savings is April 13th, so contact Pickett Solar today. Learn your options, see your savings, and allow us to submit your solar application under NEM 2.0. If you wait too long, NEM 3.0 could cost you millions. Go to PickettSolar.com.
AEG, in association with Turner Classic Movies, presents John Mellencamp. Live and in person, 2023. March 19th at Soroyan Theater. Tickets on sale now at mellencamp.com.
Mark Saturday, March 25th for the Tesoro Viejo Community-Wide Open House. To celebrate our Gold Award as the nation's Community of the Year by the National Association of Home Builders, we're inviting you to join us Saturday, March 25th from 11 a.m. to 3 p.m. Come tour all our amenities, enter to win prizes, enjoy food trucks, and see 17 model homes from our 3 acclaimed builders. Located at Highway 41 and Avenue 15, minutes north of River Park. For more, visit TesoroViejo.com.
Get ready, because Scott's is taking over daylight saving time. It's such a big event that we're calling it day-long saving time. And now it's got real savings. In fact, it's the biggest deals of the year. Audacious? Absolutely. So don't wait. Stock up early and you'll be able to save up to $20 on Scott's Triple Action and Easy Seed products today at the Home Depot and Lowe's. Offers available March 9th through 22nd at select U.S. stores while supplies last. Selection varies by location. See store for exact offers.
Finding great candidates to hire can be like, well, trying to find a needle in a haystack, but not with ZipRecruiter. Its powerful technology actively finds and invites qualified candidates to apply to your job. So while other companies might deliver a lot of hay, ZipRecruiter finds you the needle in the haystack.
See why 4 out of 5 employers who post a job on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate within the first day. Try ZipRecruiter for free at ZipRecruiter.com/free. That's ZipRecruiter.com/free.
Can you make the payment? Of course you can. $325, $350, $375 a month. Get to own a car, where only one question matters. Can you make the payment? Choose from hundreds of cars, trucks, and SUVs, and with Own a Car's no score, no more. Valley car buyers are getting approved, and most approvals are given within 30 minutes. Can you make the payment? What are you waiting for? Just bring your pay stub and ID. Own a Car Fresno, home of the 500 down sales events, Blackstone and Bullard, or at ownacar.com.
Ownacar.com. Great news, Fresno. Vintage Days at Fresno State are back April 14th through the 16th. It's 3 days of big fun with something for everyone, including all the delicious food, fun, games, live music, a craft fair, and more. The kids will enjoy the petting zoo and train ride. See all the action on Vendor Alley, including employment opportunities. The return of Vintage Days at Fresno State is proudly sponsored by Portive Subs, Own a Car, Noble Credit Union, and KMJ. For details or vendor booth availability, go to kmjnow.com.
News Talk 580 and 105.9. This is the Afternoon Drive. I'm E. Curtis Johnson. This is Philip Teresi.
Good afternoon, everybody. So I mentioned that earlier on in the week, we talked a lot about the collapse and rescue of Silicon Valley Bank. And there's a lot of doomsaying revolving around this. I mean, we've heard everything from, the economy is going to collapse to we're going to see another Lehman Brothers, Enron style, ripple effect. There was a lot of conversation about Credit Suisse and some of their difficulties subsequent to this because of their entanglements. And in general, there's been this aura of, is this going to be like 2008 all over again?
Yeah, people are thinking that. Collapse is, even though that word gets thrown around a lot, the financial term is insolvency.
Yeah.
And there's a huge difference between one bank being insolvent and a collapse of a system.
Absolutely. Massive difference. And enter Paul Krugman, who's talking about this in the New York Times. He's pushing back on some of these big doomsayer positions that have been taken in popular media. And the first one that they get to here is the idea that Silicon Valley Bank failed because it was too woke.
That is a phrase that gets thrown around too much these days.
One of the interesting man-on-the-street gotcha features that has really taken off on the left lately is simply asking people to define woke. What is it? And a lot of the people who are heartily promoting social justice agenda items don't know what it is. The people who want it can't explain it, much less the people who are mad about it. And I think that it's one of those words like socialism. Socialism means specifically this economic system that is adjacent to communism that has social implications by virtue of being a national economic blueprint. People now use socialism to mean anything that they don't like.
Yeah, yes, the word has lost its meaning.
And I think that the same thing has happened to woke. Now anything that's lefty is woke, even if it doesn't have anything to do with what woke meant 10 years ago.
Yeah, back in the day, we used to refer to it as politically correct. So wokeness is kind of the new phrase for what we used to call politically correct.
And so what Krugman said is banks have been going bust for centuries, since long before human resources departments started including boilerplate language about social responsibility in their mission statements. The talk about wokeness says nothing about the bank's failure, but a lot about the intellectual and moral bankruptcy of the modern American media.
That's hitting something right between the eyes.
And then there's this idea that the regulators did not need to rescue Silicon Valley Bank. Krugman says clearly he doesn't think this is another Lehman Brothers moment, but the bank was still crucial to the tech sector, and that is what justifies its rescue. Krugman compares it to the bailout of General Motors and Chrysler back in 2009, one of those too big to fail scenarios, not by virtue of they themselves necessarily as an individual entity being the most essential thing, but all of the things that they touch being necessary for a healthy economy.
Which makes sense, and the entire financial system has a safety net. The difference being is how far into the red has the bank gone. For example, when WAMU failed back in 2008, it was determined then, no, it's too far gone, and they broke the bank up and they sold it off.
Yeah.
This was not to that level at all.
No. And then he talks about the moral hazard dilemma. If the federal government's going to come swinging in to bail out Silicon Valley Bank and protect all of the depositors from the mistakes made in the bank management on the investment side, that's going to incentivize more risk-taking. And what Krugman says is, policymakers explicitly did not guarantee all deposits everywhere. And so far, we're seeing an outflow of funds from smaller banks to more tightly regulated large banks. On balance, we seem to be seeing the financial system moving towards reduced, not increased risk-taking.
A self-correction process.
You watch your buddy jump off the roof and break his ankle, you're going to take the ladder down.
Yes.
Then this is a big one, because I think that this really plays into, for the rest of us, that kitchen table component. The idea that the collapse of Silicon Valley Bank is going to undermine the Fed's inflation fight, because we've seen the Fed as they've been kind of inching up interest rates over the past couple of years in an effort to bring prices down, make credit more expensive, and you see this balance out. And Krugman makes a really good point about what happened at SVB and that movement towards more regulated large banks actually being a little bit of an indicator of what to expect in regards to the Fed and interest rates and inflationary activity. And we'll get to that when we get back. Right now, we have an update of headlines with Jim Miller in the KMJ Newsroom.
KMJ News now.
3:30 in Fresno. Good afternoon. I'm Jim Miller in the KMJ News Center. Fresno Superior Court set to receive a new courthouse. The court has a budget of roughly $749 million to find an estimated 41,000 square foot courthouse with 36 courtrooms. Officials say all sites being considered and are within a half-mile radius of the existing courthouse. An investigation's underway after a shooting this morning. It happened in Fresno's Tower District. A man doing handyman labor, he was shot at a yard on Ferger Avenue north of Olive Avenue. When they arrived on scene, officers found the victim, who was shot in the upper body. After a brief standoff with officers, the shooting suspect eventually surrendering and was then taken into custody, the victim in stable condition. Authorities also say an officer had to be treated after possibly being exposed to an illegal substance. Social media app TikTok causing concerns from lawmakers about data surveillance tracking Americans' data. Fox's Grady Trimble on Capitol Hill.
TikTok is collecting data on you even if you've deleted the app or never had it on your phone in the first place. The company has trackers on a bunch of websites we visit. Meta and Google use similar trackers for advertising purposes, but the added concern with TikTok is that it could then share the information it collects with the Chinese government. And those aren't the only reasons a growing number of lawmakers want to ban the app. The president has taken a tougher stance on TikTok lately, telling the app to divest from its Chinese parent company or face a ban. Publicly, TikTok has been telling us that it doesn't need to sell in order to keep Americans' data out of the hands of the Chinese government.
Now the forecast from Fox 26 is Justin Willis.
A fairly nice St. Patrick's Day afternoon with valley highs right about normal in the upper 60s and increasing clouds. Overnight lows are in the 40s. Slight chance of rain Sunday before the next major storm moves in Monday. This one should last until Wednesday, with it dropping up to 2 inches on the valley floor and up to 6 inches of rain in the mountains. Keep an eye out for flood watches as we start next week. From the Fox 26 Weather Center for KMJ, I'm Justin Willis.
With news on the hour, on the half, and when it breaks, and always streaming at KMJNow.com. I'm Jim Miller for News Talk 580, 1059 KMJ.
And taking a look at traffic, Tulare County, northbound 99, just south of Tipton and on farther north, is a mess. There's controlled traffic going on in that area. There's been some flooding from the Tule River there, and we've received a report that Avenue 152, Road 120, at the four-way stop there by the dump, the traffic is backed up for a mile or so in both directions. That again is due to that controlled traffic in that area that I just mentioned to you. With KMJ Traffic, I'm Ron McCary.
This report is sponsored by Indeed.com. Hiring heating up? Indeed's hiring platform makes it easy to attract, screen, and interview candidates all in one place. Sponsor a post and instantly receive a short list of quality candidates on Indeed whose resumes match your job description. Visit Indeed.com/credit.
Valley Caregiver Resource Center is introducing a new idea, a matter of balance. It's simple and effective. A program designed to reduce the fear of falling and increase the activity levels of older adults who have concerns about losing balance and the injuries that follow. In multiple 2-hour sessions, this program sets realistic goals for increased activity. It promotes exercise to increase strength and balance and eliminates fall risk factors. A matter of balance puts confidence in your step because the fear of falling creates anxiety and contributes to the problem. A Matter of Balance is designed for older adults concerned about falls and how that restricts activities. Learn how to stop, look, and listen to your surroundings. Improve flexibility, balance, and strength. You too will see great results. For more information, call Valley Caregivers at 224-9154.
Funding provided by private donations and a grant from the Fresno Madera Area Agency on Aging.
I thought learning a language would be too much work, but Babbel makes learning fun. J'aime Babbel.
Babbel's lessons only take 10 or 15 minutes, and soon you turn and realize, hey, I'm starting to speak another language. How'd that happen?
Babbel isn't robots talking. You learn words and phrases from real native speakers. I was ready for real-life conversations in just a few weeks. So easy.
Go to Babbel.com to try for free. That's Babbel.com. Babbel.com.
Shop and swap at Selma Auto Mall this weekend. Over 600 vehicles on site to shop from. Get a free appraisal on your trade. Get top dollar or roll into a new purchase. 11 new car brands and the largest inventory of quality pre-owned cars in the valley. If you're headed to the Selma Swap event, stop at the Selma Auto Mall. Shop and swap. Tacos and churros are free for the family this Sunday. The massive Selma Auto Mall, Highway 99 and 43. Why buy anywhere else?
This report is sponsored by Blindster.com.
Hi, I'm Kyle at Blindster.com. At Blindster, we offer over 50 different custom window treatments, including faux wood blinds and shutters, all at prices less than retail. Plus, we'll send you free samples before you buy. Don't hire an expensive pro. Do it yourself and save big at Blindster.com.
Selma Swap. Buy or sell cars, parts, and big boy toys. March 18th, Highway 99 at Mountain View, 6 a.m. to 3 p.m., rain or shine. SelmaSwap.com.
This is KMJ's Afternoon Drive with Philip Teresi and E. Curtis Johnson.
That would be us. I'm the E. Curtis Johnson of the equation, and this is Philip Teresi.
Good afternoon, everybody. Hope you're having a happy Friday and planning for a safe St. Patrick's Day tonight. If you forgot it's St. Patrick's Day, you're welcome. It's going to be amateur hour, so go home and stay home.
Yeah, stay off the streets after a certain period.
We've gotten so much better in terms of like what we have at our disposal now, because Fresno's a tough town. This is a town that likes to drink. This is a town that likes to party. But we've sprawled so much that unless you're going to like cough up for a party bus or something, getting from point to point, you've either got to have a designated driver or you're going to take the stupid chance. And the rideshare scene has dramatically shifted that. The only thing that I'm like selfishly concerned about tonight is I know that there is no chance I'm going to be able to get a DoorDash order because all of them are going to be schlepping people around to bars.
Yeah, that's where their money's going to go.
I'm also curious to see what the surge pricing looks like. Because Fresno's Fresno. For the most part, if you want to get someplace in town, right now, if I called an Uber to take me to BC's Pizza in Clovis at this hour on a normal Friday, $15 maybe, probably 10 if if I was calling midweek. Last year, when the Big Fresno Fair was in town, to get from Radio City to the Big Fresno Fair, at one point it was $40.
I will defend that to my dying day.
Sure.
Supply and demand. That is capitalism at its best. That is the way people and companies make profit. God bless them, everyone.
I am not mad at the people who are driving for the rideshare companies, and I hope that they are getting most of that markup. I hope it's going into their pocket. I went ahead and drove to the fair.
Oh, you reached your price point. That was more than your price point.
I'll find parking, but you can't get the price up that high if people aren't willing to pay it. And I know, and I think it's fantastic that you've got a money-making opportunity and you've got a life-saving opportunity. And I just, especially on a day like today, we're so spread out and people want to go party, and I hope those rideshare drivers, I hope that every drunk's a happy drunk who massively over-tips. Because that's the one thing that I think we miss here is people get a little tight about tipping. And I understand. You go out, you spend money on a nice dinner, inflation sucks, and we'll get back to Krugman's comment on inflation and the Silicon Valley Bank collapse here in a minute. But people can sometimes be a little tight about it. I think that as a matter of good form, if you are drunk on St. Paddy's Day, on New Year's, on any of these drinking holidays, your tip should be 100%.
Wow, you're mighty generous with other people's money.
No, that's what I would do. Holy smokes, hook those people up. They had to put up with you while you were drunk. There is a chance if they need the money and they're working until 2:30 in the morning, they're going to have to clean somebody's used beer off of their carpet. Tip them 100%. Do you know how much cheaper that is than a DUI?
Okay, point taken.
Yeah. If we can afford to go out and party, we can afford to take care of the people who take care of us. That's my position.
Fair enough.
So back to Silicon Valley Bank and this op-ed from Paul Krugman that turned up in the New York Times, actually. And one of the things that he addresses in this kind of litany of hyperbolic overstatement about the collapse of Silicon Valley Bank is that as a result of the collapse, you could see a negative impact on the Fed's fight against inflation. And Krugman says, you could see pressure on the banking system. The banking system as a whole is not fragile. The banking system as a whole is fine. We just had this one point, really 2 points, because there's really a second bank that went with them. But you've got this very narrow, regionalized issue. And yeah, ripples are going to be felt everywhere, but that's very different than the whole thing's going to go down the drain.
Yeah, the fact of the matter is the safety net worked.
The safety net worked, and he says that in a very roundabout way, the Silicon Valley Bank collapse may actually do more to check inflation than the next rate hike from the Fed. Because as you see people steering into more conservative fiscal behavior, that inflationary action automatically gets checked. If you're concerned about your investments, if you're concerned about your outlay of money and the security of what you've got, you take fewer chances, which means people save more money, which means they spend less, which discourages inflation.
Makes sense.
So not that this is a happy thing, but either you can believe that banking problems cause a recession, or you can believe that by preventing rate hikes, this problem becomes its own check against that inflation. But you got to hold one thought or the other in your head because they're not compatible the way he's got it penciled out.
Well, I think that's really clear. And people who are comparing this to what happened back in 2008, no, that's an overreach.
Oh, yeah.
You know, that was centered around the housing market and too many loans that were leveraged against houses. You know, more people own homes, obviously, than use a specialized high-tech bank in one state. This was a business bank.
Yeah.
This was not your average, bank down the street that, you start your 8-year-old's, college savings account on his birthday. This was a highly specialized bank for the high-tech industry, which obviously, what doesn't involve high-tech these days? So it's interconnected to all kinds of other industries.
Yeah, and again, the feeling of that turbulence isn't going to cause collapse. It is going to cause caution, which, if you're trying to fight inflation, is actually the thing that you need.
Yeah, this is kind of like, Philip, have you ever done this? I have a feeling like you, or like me, I should say, you might use every opportunity to go as much over the speed limit as you can when you're driving. Is that
from time to time, perhaps?
Occasionally, yes, occasionally. So if you ever been, you're speeding down and you're going down the freeway and you see a nasty wreck on the side of the road, what does that make you do?
You automatically drop back.
Yeah, you automatically drop back. So, and that's exactly what you're saying. That's what this one incident of one bank is happening. People are going, okay, the world's not over, but maybe I need to slow down just a little bit.
I think that Krugman has a pretty good picture of what the real consequences are here. And yeah, for some people, this is going to hurt. And for the investors in Silicon Valley Bank, it's going to hurt a lot. There's going to be people who are going to suffer a loss here. It's not going to be the depositors of Silicon Valley Bank, and Silicon Valley itself is going to carry on.
Well, that's, I think, one of the reasons why Krugman is comparing this to kind of the bailout of GM back in the day. It's different. I'm not wording this well at all, and I'm now talking for a living. It was something that needed to be saved because it's so interconnected.
Yeah.
And there's nothing wrong with that.
Yeah. I understand why we are seeing the regulators, the FDIC, and the Fed doing what they're doing with Silicon Valley Bank in a very broad layman's way. I am no economist, but I understand that if you shore this thing up, the damage is less. And that ripple effect that all the doomsayers have been anticipating for a week and a half now almost never comes to pass. People will get antsy. People will move money around. And he says people are moving money around to more conservative, more tightly regulated banks.
Yeah, and I said this in our last break. This is what happens in this situation. It means the system works. It means they noticed in the middle of the week that there were some irregularities, there were some shortfalls, and they moved ahead to prevent greater loss. Now you've got some oversight, to get it back on track. That's the system. It is working.
So when we get back, we have found the new epicenter of sexism, racism, and classism. There is a new focal point for the woke to direct their ire, their fear, their concern to fight classism, racism, and sexist social structures. We may have found the nexus of those three behaviors.
I can't wait.
And taking a look at traffic, northbound 99 from just south of Tipton, that's just south of Highway 190. It's a really big mess there. There's flooding being caused by the Tule River, traffic control by the CHP. Looking at my map, it's red, which means there's hardly any movement at all. According to a report, there's some cars stuck in the water. The roads off the freeway in that area are quite congested as well, so try to avoid that if you possibly can. Also in Tulare County, Road 96, just north of Avenue 160, there's been a collision with injuries, and Road 122, Avenue 152, there's traffic control going on there as well, and Highway 43 south of Corcoran, has been put into a full closure due to flooding. With KMJ Traffic, I'm Ron McCary.
This report is sponsored by Blindster.com.
Hi, I'm Kyle at Blindster.com. Shopping for new blinds? At Blindster, we offer over 50 different blinds, shades, and shutters at low prices, custom made for your windows, and shipping is free. Shop at home and order 10 free samples of any product before you buy. Blindster.com.
Mark Saturday, March 25th for the Tesoro Viejo Community-Wide Open House to celebrate our Gold Award as the nation's Community of the Year by the National Association of Home Builders. We're inviting you to join us Saturday, March 25th from 11 a.m. to 3 p.m. Come tour all our amenities, enter to win prizes, enjoy food trucks, and see 17 model homes from our 3 acclaimed builders. Located at Highway 41 and Avenue 15, minutes north of River Park. For more, visit TesoroViejo.com.
Medicare coverage can be complicated, and knowing who to trust with your questions can sometimes feel overwhelming, but it doesn't have to be. The Fresno Madera Health Insurance Counseling and Advocacy Program, better known as HICAP, can help with all things Medicare. HICAP is a program of Valley Caregiver Resource Center and is a national state health insurance program. Counselors are registered with the California Department of Aging and provide free, unbiased, and confidential Medicare counseling. HICAP doesn't sell anything, but can help with ambulance appeals, billing issues, Medicare grievances, finding affordable prescription drug plan options, and more. HICAP will help you better understand your Medicare plan and help you avoid interruptions in coverage. Counselors will assess your needs and help you make informed decisions about your coverage as a Medicare beneficiary. For more, call 559-224-9117 or visit valleycrc.org and click on Programs. That number again is 224-9117.
I'll second guest dinners with friends because they can be interrupted by diarrhea, gas, bloating, stomach pain, or oily stools. It turns out I have EPI, or exocrine pancreatic insufficiency, which means I'm missing the enzymes needed to digest food. My doctor prescribed Creon, pancrelipase, an oral prescription medication that replaces pancreatic digestive enzymes. Creon treats EPI due to cystic fibrosis, chronic pancreatitis, pancreatectomy, or other conditions.
Creon may increase your chance of fibrosing colonopathy, a rare bowel disorder. Tell your doctor if you have a history of intestinal blockage or scarring or thickening of your bowel wall, if you're allergic to pork, or if you have gout, kidney problems, or worsening of painful swollen joints. Call your doctor if you have any unusual or severe gastrointestinal symptoms or allergic reactions. Take Creon as directed by your doctor and always with food. Do not chew capsules, as this may cause mouth irritation. Other side effects may include blood sugar changes, gas, dizziness, sore throat, and cough. These are not all the side effects of Creon.
Creon is the #1 prescribed EPI treatment. Ask your doctor about Creon for EPI and visit creoninfo.com or call 800-633-9110 to learn more. That's CREONinfo.com.
Turn to the experts with Carrier. Here's Andrea and Eddie from All Britain Heating and Air.
Well, winter isn't over yet.
We're coming into the time where you might run your AC system some days,
But then run your furnace at night.
and that's hard on your system.
If your furnace hasn't been performing very well this season,
If you feel hot or cold spots in your home,
if your system seems to run all the time, struggling just to maintain the temperature you want,
if you're getting any weird sounds or smells from the system,
well, that's when you call All Britain.
a lot of times it's just an easy fix or a simple adjustment.
A lot of times, all you need is our famous $129 System Revitalization.
Makes your system run like it's young again.
And use less energy doing it.
If you think you might have an AC or heating problem, don't wait.
Because small heating and air problems
Grow up to be big heating and air problems.
We believe everyone deserves to be comfortable in their home.
Just call All Britain.
Because we've got the answer.
At allbritain.com.
ALLBRITTEN.
Hi, I'm Scott Miller, President and CEO of the Fresno Chamber of Commerce, and I want to invite you to the Mobagunu Memorial Golf Classic on Thursday, March 30th at Sunnyside Country Club. What better place to do business than on the golf course? With over $100,000 in hole-in-one prize money and a chance to win a new car, this will be a golf tournament you don't want to miss. Foursomes are selling fast, so sign up today. Registration and sponsorships available now at FresnoChamber.com. That's FresnoChamber.com. Thank you to our sponsors, Manchester Center and Precision Civil Engineering.
Live, local, on it. News Talk 580 1059 KMJ.
KMJ.
And always streaming at KMJNow.com.
News Talk 580 and 1059 KMJ. Thank you for choosing the afternoon drive. My name is E. Curtis Johnson. Philip Teresi is here also. Interesting story. There's a Loyola professor claims that organized pantries are rooted in racist and sexist social customs.
Huh?
If this is not the most absurd example of shaming. I don't know what is. So apparently there's a TikTok trend. I don't know. I'm not on TikTok, where people show off their perfectly organized home pantries. And again, this professor is claiming that it's rooted in sexist social structures. They're saying that through her research at Loyola University, associate professor and marketing Jenna Denton noticed a recent uptick in what she calls pantry porn. Oh, come on. It's a plethora of social media videos where women show off their fully stocked kitchen and methodically organized home supplies. While minimalist designs used to represent an anti-consumption mindset of using less and buying less, the new minimalism, according to Darton, means more is more as long as it's not dirty or cluttered.
So I agree that having the resources to both have a fully stocked pantry and to be able to very, very neatly organize that pantry, that all the jars are, out of a matching set and all your baskets are nice and tidy and it's perfectly clean. It's the pantry that grandma always wanted. I agree that is a symbol of some measure of success. I'm unclear how that is. If you want to talk about classism, okay, that's showing that you've got something. You've managed to achieve something, which I guess is inherently classist. How is it racist or sexist?
Well, because everything is racist or sexist these days. Now, if that doesn't make sense, it's because it doesn't make sense. But think of one offense these days that is supposedly happening in society that isn't tied into racism somehow or sexism somehow.
Yeah, well, yeah, I agree. Anytime anybody wants to criticize anything or put somebody back on their heels in an argument, what do? You go to racism or sexism.
Okay, so here's an example of why this professor's thing is absurd. Let's suppose that you and Mrs. Teresi are going to go out for the night.
Yeah.
Maybe you're going to go someplace nice restaurant, and you decide to dress up a little bit. So as many women like to do. Now, I don't know your wife, so I'm just making a presumption here. So go with it.
Yeah.
So if a woman dressing up and looking nice, in doing so, is she doing the same kind of shaming that what this professor insinuates is happening with these pantries? In other words, because I have a shirt on my back and a home to go to, if I show that in some way, am I somehow making fun of or overloading over the homeless?
That seems to be the assertion by this professor. One of the things that she writes is, cleanliness has historically been used as a cultural gatekeeping mechanism to reinforce status distinctions. And you know what this makes me think of? Our old friend Alan Autry. He was given a speech, I think it was a graduation speech. This was a few years ago, and he was talking about growing up and the poverty that he grew up in. And one of the things that was a first priority for his folks, because they would follow the crop. His parents were laborers.
Mm-hmm.
One of the first things that they would do when they would arrive at their new home, whatever the housing situation was going to be, mom and dad and the kids would spend all day. They haven't unpacked a stitch of clothing. They would spend all day cleaning the house from top to bottom. And he said, no matter how poor we were, I always knew I was coming home to a clean home. And that was an important example for my parents to set for me. No matter how little you have, respecting it and caring for it is a positive thing.
Absolutely.
So migrant laborers are aspiring to classism because they swept their porch.
Point well stated. I also have an antidote to this professor. If she objects to this kind of affluence shaming by looking at well-organized pantries, I'm inviting her over and she can look at my garage. It'll reset her in a New York minute.
Missed part of the show? Get the Afternoon Drive podcast at KMJNow.com or by searching KMJ's Afternoon Drive in Amazon Music or Stitcher.
Could you use monthly payments to help meet basic needs, like putting food on the table, paying the rent, or buying new shoes for growing feet? Find out about Supplemental Security Income. You may qualify if your income and financial resources are low and you are 65 or older, or an adult or child with a disability or who is blind. Call 1-800-772-1213 or go to ssa.gov/SSI. Produced by Social Security at U.S. taxpayer expense.
Tom Sharp for Maximum Air Gun.
Firearm regulations dogging your favorite hobby? Skip the restrictions and dive into the world of air rifles. 22 caliber 350 cal, only at Maximum Air Guns in Fresno. From high-power slugs to specialized scopes, we have everything you need to eradicate pests, target shoot, or try your hand at precision competitions. Buy today, shoot today. Maximum Air Gun specializes in paintball, airsoft, and we have a huge selection of air rifles. Maximum Air Gun on Blackstone next to Me and Ed's Pizza. You will be amazed.
Clean and healthy water is essential for living your best life. LifeSource is the whole home water system that will change your life. LifeSource gives you filtered and delicious water from every tap, filtering out the bad stuff and keeping the good stuff for a healthier, happier you. No maintenance needed. New customers can get a free Apapure antibacterial filter valued at $825 with qualifying purchase. Call 559-330-1850, LifeSourceWater.com. LifeSource, taste and feel the difference.
Attention Fresno, Semper Solaris is ready to install your solar now and complete your paperwork in time for NEM2. They have teams working around the clock 7 days a week and have processed over 35,000 applications and counting, more than any solar company in California. No one works harder than Semper does with esprit de corps and honor. Go solar American style. Declare your independence with Semper Solaris, your local and veteran-owned solar contractor who gets the job done right. Imagine no money out of pocket, no payments until 2024. Call 559-242-1800. Worried about blackouts? Tesla and Enphase batteries are in stock. Plus, Semper offers new furnace and AC systems with a lifetime warranty and new roofs with a 50-year warranty. Don't wait. Get your solar system installed by Semper Solaris before net metering changes and rates go up even more. For all offers, call 559-242-1800 or visit sempersolaris.com. Unapproved credit expires 3/31/23. CSLB number 978-152.
Shop and swap at Selma Auto Mall this weekend. Over 600 vehicles on site to shop from. Get a free appraisal on your trade. Get top dollar or roll into a new purchase. 11 new car brands and the largest inventory of quality pre-owned cars in the Valley. If you're headed to the Selma Swap event, stop at the Selma Auto Mall. Shop and swap. Tacos and churros are free for the family this Sunday. The massive Selma Auto Mall, Highway 99 and 43. Why buy anywhere else?
Selma Swap, buy or sell cars, parts, and big boy toys. March 18th, Highway 99 at Mountain View, 6 a.m. to 3 p.m., rain or shine. SelmaSwap.com.
News Talk, 580 AM, 105.9 FM, KMJ, Fresno, a Cumulus Media station.
KMJ.
It's 4 o'clock in Fresno. Good afternoon. I'm Joe Miller in the KMJ News Center. Well, the Tule River flooding a large area of Kings and Tulare counties. There's multiple closures, and all Highway 143 has been closed in Tulare County. Tule River originates in the Sierra Nevada east of Porterville. It's been overwhelmed by the amount of water from a series of atmospheric rivers that have moved through the state of California. River used to empty into Tulare Lake, but its waters have been diverted for irrigation. However, the river does reach Tulare Lake during floods. Tulare Lake just outside the city of Corcoran. It's unknown when Highway 43 will reopen, but more rain is in the forecast as early as Sunday. A Fresno middle school student hospitalized after an attack on campus caught on video.
Caught on camera, what appears to be a one-sided fight at Glacier Point Middle School in Fresno Wednesday. The video shows one student approaching another student before the attack happens. The attacker grabs the other girl by the hair and throws her down, and then begins to punch her. We've learned the victim was taken to an area hospital. It was just a few weeks ago I reported on a similar attack on school grounds, that one at Bullard High School. Central Unified provided this statement regarding the attack on campus, saying in part, Central Unified does not condone any instance of physical violence. The safety of our students and staff is of the utmost importance, and we want to ensure our community that we are taking this matter seriously.
A man shot in the Tower District in Fresno this morning. Police responding to the area of Olive and Palm Avenues for the report of that shooting at about 7. They found a man suffering from a gunshot wound to the upper body. He was taken to the hospital, but his condition not known. If anyone has any information on this shooting, you're asked to contact Fresno Police. Stocks and down, capping a volatile week with investors still concerned about the banking sector. Fox's Hillary Barsky reports.
Stocks falling as concerns worsen about the global banking industry. Shares of First Republic Bank plunging over 30%, and by far the S&P 500's biggest decliner today, despite receiving $30 billion in deposits from the country's largest banks. The regional bank did suspend its dividend and disclosed higher borrowing costs eating into its valuation. All 11 of the S&P 500 sectors closing in the red today, while the price of Bitcoin rose as the banking crisis has driven renewed interest in cryptocurrencies. The Dow winners, Home Depot, Microsoft, and Walmart. The biggest Dow decliners, Goldman Sachs, JP Morgan Chase, and Travelers. The Dow down 385 points, the Nasdaq down 87, S&P 500 down 44. Hillary Barsky, Fox News.
Now the forecast from Fox 26 is Justin Willis.
A fairly nice St. Patrick's Day afternoon with valley highs right about normal in the upper 60s and increasing clouds. Overnight lows are in the 40s. Slight chance of rain Sunday before the next major storm moves in Monday. This one should last until Wednesday, with it dropping up to 2 inches on the valley floor and up to 6 inches of rain in the mountains. Keep an eye out for flood watches as we start next week. From the Fox 26 Weather Center for KMJ, I'm Justin Willis.
With news on the hour, on the half, and when it breaks, and always streaming at KMJNow.com, I'm Jim Miller for News Talk 580, 105.9 KMJ.
And taking a look at traffic conditions, wet ones they are, not from the sky, but from the ground. Highway 137 in Tulare County is closed from Road 1, that's Avenue 152 to Farmersville. Highway 43 south of Corcoran in Kings County is closed due to it's completely closed down again due to flooding. Road 96 just north of Avenue 160 in Tulare County, there's been a collision with injuries. And northbound 99, there are traffic controls and problems there as the Tule River is overflowed and is causing trouble mainly in the northbound lanes. Roads off the freeway in that area are quite congested. With KMJ Traffic, I'm Ron McCary.
That cruiser is pure gold.
Right you are, Daddy-O. Chuck Chansey Gold. It's the $600,000 Cruisin' Camaro giveaway. There are winners every day, February 27th through April 28th, only at Chuck Chansey Gold Resort and Casino.
KMJ's Afternoon Drive with Philip Teresi and E. Curtis Johnson.
Yay for us, and it's a Friday, a St. Patrick's Day. Nonetheless, my name's E. Curtis Johnson. This is Philip Teresi.
Good afternoon, everybody. Hey, just a reminder, March 30th at 7 p.m., set your DVRs for Valley PBS, the 100th anniversary documentary about KMJ is going to air March 30th, 7 p.m. on Valley PBS, at which point we will be 101 years old plus a week. So
that's an accomplishment. I mean, think of anything that's 101 and still alive and thriving.
So a little bit of a digression here. When I was before I ended up taking over, when Chris retired, and I was still very much the producer and second banana, I had a little bit more time on my hands. And so my other love in radio is the engineering side of things. I've always been very comfortable working on computers and IT stuff.
Yeah, you've always been a tech head.
And I find radio engineering fascinating because it is, in the 21st century, it is this incredible union of the absolute latest bleeding edge technology and stuff that Marconi figured out and nobody has changed since. And radio has evolved since then in terms of how transmitters work, but the fundamental principles of amplitude modulated radio, our soon to be 101-year-old transmitter, still very much use the principles and techniques that Marconi put together 150 years ago. And I love that. And so we've had some really fantastic engineers come through this building. Right now we got a guy named Chris Basham who's just incredible and is spending a lot of time four-wheeling in the snow, keeping the FM KMJ and our sister stations on the air while they're still figuring out the blizzard conditions in the mountains. And we've had, and I've been lucky to know. I mean, Dave Case is another one of those people that had this patience to let me come in and dabble. And somewhere in there, we had a guy come through, Mike Arand, and Mike was totally enthusiastic about somebody who would show up and do scut work in engineering to learn about the transmitter side of things, which is my weakest point in this. And so he started taking me out to transmitter sites because he would go out and do like Saturday morning transmitter checks. And I got to go to our backup facility for 580 because KMJ's 580 transmitter, we've got our main 50,000 watt monster transmitter that's, out in the country. But our backup transmitter is where our transmitter has lived since the Department of War moved us away from the runway at Hammer Airfield during World War II.
Oh, my goodness.
And there's some really neat stuff out there. The bunker that they built with a Apocalypse studio is still there. And it's got turntables and microphones and a control surface from World War II still sitting there.
A museum piece.
Absolutely it is. And of course, since then, we've evolved since then, and the Department of War has eventually evolved into FEMA, and there's, we've kept up. But that old stuff, because radio's radio, nobody throws anything away. And at what is now our backup transmitter site, you've got that cool old bunker, and then you've got the modern transmitter, which was a unit that was in use from like the 80s to the end of the 90s. And that transmitter is about the size of a large refrigerator. Like, those cool Sub-Zeros with the real big ones with the double doors. It's like that big. But it's something that you and I could wrestle into the back of a pickup truck. Then you've got the one that preceded that was in service from like the 1940s to when this thing came into service. And it's like 3 of those side by side. It's much bigger because that miniaturization, the microprocessors, the semiconductors had not evolved that far yet.
Yeah, solid state didn't exist yet.
And then there is the old RCA unit that was the KMJ transmitter when we settled on 580 AM and were bought by the McClatchy Corporation in 1926. And this transmitter is about half the size of this studio.
It's probably got tubes the size of your torso.
I've got a 1,000 watt transmitter tube that has a heat sink on it. It's a copper heat sink the size of a basketball. This thing weighs like 60 pounds. And the tube on it's bigger than my coffee mug. It's enormous. And to access it, like today, if you go to the 580 transmitter and you want to fix something, you open up a couple of doors like in a cupboard and you reach in after making sure that the power's off so you don't burn yourself to a crisp.
Yes, safety first, in case there's any OSHA inspectors listening.
That RCA transmitter, you access it to repair it by opening a door like the front door to your house and walking inside, and there's railed catwalks that the engineering staff would use to move amongst the components.
Yeah, don't touch certain things.
What's really interesting to me about this is when we set up the modern KMJ transmitter facilities that if you're listening on 580, it's what you're hearing right now. When we brought that online in 1997, as we were making the change off, the chief engineer at the time fired up that old RCA 1925 model transmitter one more time. And for 30 minutes, KMJ was coming out of that 5,000 watt transmitter from before the Second World War. Well, when we made this changeover and we updated all this stuff and the old site became the backup site, they decommissioned it. They shut it down. They took the power leads off of it because it had this massive trunk of power lines coming in, because to get 5,000 watts with old inefficient technology, you needed 1.21 gigawatts of, oh my God, is that lightning, to make it work. This is not a joke and it's not a ghost story, and I'm not sure that I can explain exactly why. It's been decommissioned. It has been de-energized. Some of the control lights still illuminate. They think it's because of static electricity in the air.
They're still glowing?
intermittently. They're not always on.
Oh, that's even worse.
But just every once in a while, you'll get these control lights that'll come on. When I say it's big, I mean like the front of your house. It's an entire third of the building. And you'll just get these control lights that pop on.
That's kind of creepy.
It's kind of creepy and it's kind of cool. So I love that old technology, and I love that we've married that stuff together. But if you think about the heritage of KMJ, that still exists. I think they should take the face off of it and make it our new lobby. So when you get off the elevator at Radio City and you're coming into the studios, you've got those massive RCA control panels to greet you.
Well, from a guy who loves history and old stuff, yes, I'll do that. Considering that this is now corporate radio, I'm not sure they're going to fork out the coin for that, but good idea nonetheless.
I would take a weekend to go move pieces off this thing. But yeah, that KMJ transmitter, our original big dog, back when 5,000 watts was big dog, it still exists. It's still physically there. And I think with a week worth of work, you could put it back on the air. They'll never do it because I don't know if anybody knows how to service it now. But and I have one of those 1,000-watt transmitter tubes sitting on my desk. But, it's possible.
Yeah, it's possible.
Anyways, March 30th, 7 p.m., Valley PBS. I can't tell you if they'll have footage of the old transmitter in there or not, but there's 100 years worth of stuff, and they have found some very cool artifacts they're going to share with you guys.
Yeah, we got to watch that special on PBS.
So the Justice Department is now formally investigating ByteDance Inc., the parent company of TikTok. I've told you guys, TikTok's Chinese spyware. That's not hyperbolic. This isn't me mashing tinfoil on my head. TikTok's Chinese spyware. The reason that the Justice Department is now investigating ByteDance Inc. and TikTok is because ByteDance Inc. has admitted that they were using the TikTok software to surveil American citizens, including journalists who covered the tech industry. ByteDance says, well, when we found out about this, we fired those guys immediately. DOJ's not buying it. They are digging in on this. The DOJ's criminal division, the FBI, and the U.S. Attorney for the Eastern District of Virginia are all in on this. This isn't an I told you so moment. This is a confirmation that what I've been telling you is real. And of course, ByteDance, who has spent millions of dollars on lobbyists in Washington. They are pulling out all the stops to try and keep the United States government from either forcing Beijing out or blocking the software, blocking the technology, which I actually think they should just block the technology at this point. But I bring this up because there's a lot of people who are going to respond to that going, oh my God, I got to get that off my kid's phone. You know how the CDC's like ByteDance? Because the CDC went out and bought data from tracking companies to monitor Americans' locations during COVID to make sure people were complying with the shelter-in-place orders.
Oh, our own government spying on us.
The CDC paid $420,000 to one company, $208,000 to another company, gaining access to GPS location data from a minimum of 55 million cell phone users.
George Orwell was right. Big Brother is watching.
Yeah. Big Brother's watching. And the differentiation that I hear people indulge in is, well, yeah, the Chinese Communist government spying on us and harvesting data, that's bad and that's dangerous and that's wrong and it's a threat to national security, and they get it. They understand it because it's them. It's that suspicious other. All of our cell phones are harvesting that. They're amassing that data constantly. That's how all of this online advertising works now. If you've got a smartphone in your pocket, it's collecting that information about you. Unless you've gone through and you've changed settings and you've gone out of your way to keep it from harvesting data. But what they're normally doing with it is they're selling it to advertisers. Well, hey, Mr. Johnson seems to He seems to stop by Panera Bread about once a week to pick up a sandwich. We can tell by his GPS location that he heads straight over there right about lunchtime every day. And we can see by the activity on his Instagram feed that he's a big fan of the Italian club and the chicken noodle soup. Well, golly, I guess we should serve him an ad for the sandwich shop down the street, shouldn't we?
Yeah, that's how online advertising works these days.
And when you tell me that somebody's collecting that because they're going to show me the sandwich shop down the street, I shrug. I don't care if some ad server knows that I go to Panera Bread once a week. I don't care if somebody's able to buy that information in order to show me, hey, we've got a special going on at Quiznos. Why would I care? Why would that bother me? It doesn't. But anybody with sufficient funding can buy that data. Anybody. The government, foreign governments, private industry. It's possible for anybody to just go and buy it. I'll read you guys a little bit of the contract that the CDC used in spending, by the way, your money, $628,000 of your money to make sure that you were being good boys and girls and not going out during the pandemic. So you can see just how narrow they can make this focus when they want to see where your cell phone's been.
And taking a look at traffic, east of Fresno, eastbound 180 at South Leonard, there's been a collision, no injuries. Also eastbound 180 and DeWolf, not far away, there was a collision with no injuries. In Madera County, southbound 99 at Avenue 18.5, there's been a collision with no injuries involved there. In Tulare County, Highway 137 is closed from that's Avenue 152 to Farmersville. In Kings County, Highway 43 south of Corcoran is under full closure. And we're looking at Road 96 just north of Avenue 160 in Tulare County. There was a collision with injuries. Cleanup is going there. And northbound 99 from just south of Tippin to almost Tulare is a mess. There is traffic controls in effect. The Tule River has caused some flooding. Some cars have gotten stuck. And the side roads off of the highway are crowded as well as some people leave the freeway to try to get someplace faster. With KMJ Traffic, I'm Ron McCary.
Hey guys, it's Philip Teresi introducing you to the local guys at CopyRabbit.com. If you're looking for new business, this website is where you need to be. CopyRabbit is connecting people who are serious about hiring professionals. Whether you're a housekeeper, a mechanic, a landscaper, there are customers with job postings at CopyRabbit.com who want to meet you. CopyRabbit.com, where the leads are always free. KOPI Rabbit.com, where people go to get things done. That's CopyRabbit.com.
McCaffrey Homes model grand opening is here. 11 new model homes now open at Tesoro Viejo. Tesoro Viejo was just named the nation's Community of the Year, and the incentives and savings are spectacular. Priced from the high 300s to the low 800s, the Poppy, Savannah, and Ivy home collections offer designs with up to 5 bedrooms to fit all lifestyles and budgets. All in a community made for resort-style living. Visit today. Highway 41 and Avenue 15, just minutes north of River Park. Learn more at McCaffreyHomes.com.
For the folks just joining us, we're on round 2 of Solar Squabble with the Clark family. They're naming factors Solar For You considers for battery storage. Viv guessed power output, but unfortunately that earned you a strike.
Yeah, crazy.
Chloe, you're up.
Where it goes?
Leo, really?
Call Energy Concepts instead. Our team of in-house experts will guide you on the home battery technology that best fits your needs. Calling Energy Concepts, the highest rated SunPower Elite dealer in the Valley, now that's a power move.
Like any good agent, we're here for the open house, for the closing, for handing over keys. But because we're realtors, we're here for so much more. Agents who are realtors volunteer at nearly 3 times the national average. We're working to broaden access to credit, increase affordable housing supply, and ensure fair housing for all. And realtors are bound by a code of ethics. We're here for it all. Realtors are members of the National Association of Realtors. That's who we are.
Breaking news.
Tax refund shock is everywhere, but what is it?
My tax refund shrank.
Mine too. The culprit? Pandemic-related stimulus payments and tax credits expiring. In this reporter's opinion, you need a tax expert.
Hey guys, Jackson Hewitt guarantees your biggest refund.
And tax prep is 50% off? Going there now.
50% off is a limited-time offer for new clients filing at participating locations. Max value $200. Visit jacksonhewitt.com/50 for terms.
Shop and swap at Selma Auto Mall this weekend. Over 600 vehicles on site to shop from. Get a free appraisal on your trade. Get top dollar or roll into a new purchase. 11 new car brands and the largest inventory of quality pre-owned cars in the Valley. If you're headed to the Selma Swap event, stop at the Selma Auto Mall. Shop and swap. Tacos and churros are free for the family this Sunday. The massive Selma Auto Mall. Highway 99 and 43. Why buy anywhere else?
Cashback is not available on gas in New Jersey and Wisconsin.
Susan, I'm sorry I'm late. Traffic is terrible.
It sure is. But on top of that, gas prices have been skyrocketing. I can't believe how expensive gas has gotten recently.
Prices at the pump are up, but I never pay full price for gas anymore. I just use the free Upside app that pays you cash back for every gallon of gas you buy.
Wait a minute. Are you saying you actually get paid cash when you buy gas with the Upside app?
Yes, I get real cash back every time I buy gas.
And does that actually add up to anything?
I've made around $200.
Wow, that's serious extra cash. I'm downloading the free Upside app now.
Download the free Upside app to earn real cash back every time you buy gas. Use promo code BEST for an extra 25 cents per gallon cash back on your first fill-up. You can cash out anytime right to your bank account, to PayPal, or an e-gift card for Amazon and other brands. Just download the free Upside app and use promo code BEST for a 25 cents per gallon bonus on your first tank. That's code BEST for 25 cents per gallon cash back on your first fill-up.
I am a very happy camper because I get to tell you about the Noble Brothers Truck Accessory Center. Yeah, exactly the same place I was talking to you about 15, 20 years ago. Do you know this local company is 42 years old? 42 years dabbling with trucks. I think they know what they're doing. And right now, I need to address you people that have companies and you people who are farmers with fleet vehicles. This is an area where the Noble Brothers have really carved out their expertise. Whether it's cabinets, truck racks, ladder racks, toolboxes, van interiors, van shelving, and a lot of it. Remember, I use the F word, fleet. If you have fleet needs, you need the Noble Brothers Truck Accessory Center. Two of them, one out in Sunnyside, the other one on Blackstone near Sierra. I got to know them when they turned a Jeep Wrangler of mine into a masterpiece, and I just got another Jeep. And they're doing it all over again. I can't wait for the finished product. Click nobletruck.com. Noble, N-O-B-I-L-E. If it's a pickup, a van, a Jeep, oh, even a fifth wheel, you totally need the Noble Brothers Truck Accessory Center since 1980.
That cruiser is pure gold.
Right you are, Daddy-O. Chuck Chansey Gold. It's the $600,000 Cruisin' Camaro giveaway. There are winners every day, February 27th through April 28th. Only at Chuck Chansey Gold Resort and Casino.
Beautiful, isn't it?
Beautiful, unethical, dangerous. You've turned every cell phone in Gotham into a microphone.
And a high-frequency generator receiver.
You took my sonar concept and applied it to every phone in the city. With half the city feeding you sonar, you can image all of Gotham. This is wrong.
I've got to find this man, Lucius.
At what cost?
The database is now key encrypted. It can only be accessed by one person.
This is too much power for one person.
That's why I gave it.
News Talk 580 and 105.9 KMJ. This is the Afternoon Drive. Philip Teresi, me, E. Curtis Johnson, and Batman on there. Yeah, that line from that movie is, while it seemed like a movie at the time, was really a comment on current conditions. I have always loved the book from George Orwell. And, if you've read the book, seen the movie even, Big Brother is the symbol for the government. And in the book or the movie, the thing that the government used to watch people was cameras. They had cameras everywhere.
Yeah.
They don't need cameras anymore. They're watching us on the things that I shouldn't say watching us, they're tracking us based on what we're carrying in our pockets.
Yeah. That's it. That's exactly what they're doing. And when you go back to something as benign as, well, I was at Home Depot and I was looking for hose washers, and the next day I've got an advertisement from Lowe's. Hey, if you're in the market for a new garden hose, Lowe's has a sale. I look at that and I go, okay, you know what? If I get a coupon out of the deal, then okay, all right. I'm not bothered by that. I'm not worried that Lowe's is trying to get me. But this contract that the CDC entered into to track our location data through our cell phones during the pandemic, I'm not going to sit here and pretend that I didn't look at the claims of tyranny, the people on the street corners screaming, I'm unmasked, unvaccinated, unafraid. I'm not going to pretend that I didn't look at that and scoff. And I to a certain extent, still think that there was a little bit of an antisocial, rebellious bend in that had less to do with trying to keep this thing from killing too many people. But I have to admit, my attitude about that attitude has evolved. And this contract with the CDC, the way that they've phrased it, this contract will provide the CDC with necessary data to continue critical emergency response functions related to evaluating the impact of visits to key points of interest, stay-at-home orders, closures, reopenings, and other public health communications related to social distancing, mask mandates, and other emergency research areas, including social inequalities, on community transmission of SARS-CoV-2.
It's the very definition of dystopian.
Yeah.
It's the first foot in the door of dystopian society. Now,
Yeah.
I'm not saying we all should be paranoid about it, but we need to realize what's happening behind the scenes.
Well, and the thing that springs to my mind is sometimes paranoid people aren't wrong. I think that the expression commonly is even the paranoid have enemies. But the fact of the matter is that we have gotten to a point where we have taken on this technology because, gosh, it is convenient, isn't it? You're in Home Depot and you can't find that hose washer. You just whip out your phone, tap in, pop open the Home Depot app, tap, tap, tap. I need hose washers. Oh, well, that's in aisle 44, bay 2. You don't even have to chase down a guy with an orange vest anymore.
Now, for the sake of someone who may be listening thinking, okay, Philip and E have really gone off the rocker on this one. They've really become paranoid. So here's an example. Philip, would you accept a device on your car that measured how fast you were going and reported that data to the California Highway Patrol? Would you ever agree to anything like that?
Not intentionally. And yet, that technology exists, although it doesn't currently report it to the Highway Patrol. It reports it to your insurance provider.
Yeah, even more expensive than the Highway Patrol.
Oh, yeah. But if you, depending upon your insurance provider, you can sign up for this Safe Driver program, and they send you this little unit that you connect to the OBD port on your car. And it measures acceleration, deceleration, hardness of braking, turns. It takes all of that information to determine, is this somebody who is proceeding in a safe and orderly fashion, or is this somebody who's driving recklessly or aggressively?
Without you knowing about it. That's the nefarious part about it.
I disagree. They tell you exactly what they're doing. If you go through and you look at what that Safe Driver program, what they're collecting, they tell you what they're doing, but it's in the small print. The big print is, hey, hook this thing up to your car and you could save, $20 a month on your car insurance.
Oh, you're right. You're right. I stand corrected. You're right.
And these apps, and I'm using Home Depot as an example because I love Home Depot and I'm in there almost every weekend. It's not any one entity. It's all of these apps. And the intention behind it is just good old-fashioned capitalist accumulation of data to be able to better target advertising and that sort of thing. And that by itself doesn't scare me. It doesn't chill me. But the idea that the government can just go buy that data, that exact same data that I don't care that Lowe's or McDonald's or whoever has, to determine whether or not I was a good boy during the pandemic, that bothers me a lot.
Well, and one difference, too, is and by the way, I practically live at Home Depot. I am a home repair junkie. So I'm not picking on them either. I love Home Depot. except after they reorganized the store on Shaw. I knew for years where everything was. Now they've made it much cleaner, much more organized, but now I don't know where anything is. So I'm sorry, I digressed. So here's the difference, though, between, again, Home Depot.
Yeah.
When you go into Home Depot, is it logical to conclude that on their turf, on their property, they might have some sort of right in collecting information about their customers on their property?
Boy, I don't know about the right, but I assume when I interact with an employee, even just to say howdy when I'm going by in the aisle, I assume that there is an awareness of how many people were in the store, how much money got spent, how much stuff got stolen, what were our big sellers? Are we selling more Ryobi products? Are we selling more, rigid products, and so on and so on? Because that's going to inform how they do business and has since before we were all carrying around cell phones.
Okay, then let me rephrase that. Is it logical to conclude that a business entity of any kind would be logical that they would collect data on their customers' spending habits while on their property?
It's logical to assume they do that, yes.
Okay. Well, the difference in this is that the government has the ability to track where we go, measure where we've been while we're on public streets.
Yeah.
Or private property.
And the argument then becomes, are we creating a safer society, or are we handing over data to the government that enables them to further violate our privacy and our rights?
Does the government have the right to come into your house unannounced without a warrant and search your premise?
Only under those extremely limited circumstances of like a hot pursuit. Right now in the law, you've got some really clear protections under like the 4th and the 5th Amendment. If somebody just walks up, hey, we're looking for weed, you got any? I can say, hey, come back with a warrant.
Yeah, or drop dead and then come back with a warrant.
If somebody comes running through my door on the run from the police, they can run in after the guy. And truth be told, I'll hold the door while they go get him. Like, I'm fine with that. But your point's not lost. The government is now collecting through the CDC a level of information that they absolutely would not be entitled to if a police officer walked up to you and said, so where you been today?
I would love to get Mark Capitan's case on this, because does this amount to an illegal search? Not a seizure, but does this amount to an illegal search?
It's an excellent question.
KMJ News now. It's 4:30 in Fresno on your Friday. Good afternoon. I'm Jim Miller in the KMJ News Center. The Tulare River flooding a large area of Kings and Tulare counties. There's multiple closures, and all of Highway 43 closed in Tulare County. The Tule River originates in the Sierra Nevada east of Porterville. It's been overwhelmed by the amount of water from a series of atmospheric rivers that have moved through California. The river used to empty into Tulare Lake, but its waters have been diverted for irrigation. However, the river does reach Tulare Lake during floods. Tulare Lake is just outside the city of Corcoran. It's unknown when Highway 43 will reopen, but more rain to the forecast as early as Sunday. About 100 members of the Fresno State Bulldog Marching Band got to travel to Dublin, Ireland to perform at the annual St. Patrick's Day Parade. They were part of the Mountain West Conference All-Star Band. St. Patrick's Day Parade in Dublin is one of the biggest and most celebrated annual events globally. Earlier this year, the Fresno State Bulldog Marching Band performed in the Rose Parade. Americans spending a little more for libations on this St. Patty's Day. Fox's Hillary Barsky explains.
St. Patrick's Day has become one of the biggest drinking days of the year. The holiday is a huge moneymaker for bars, with the amount of alcohol sold totaling billions of dollars. However, the average bar tab tends to be reasonably priced, and on average around $44 per person this year, according to Wallet Hub. The total is just a couple dollars more than last year. Most of the money spent during the holiday is on beer, with Guinness the beverage of choice. A festive green beer is also a favorite option, as well as shots of Jameson. In Pennsylvania, Pennsylvania is the top state where its residents consume the most drinks. Hillary Barsky, Fox News.
Now the forecast from Fox 26 is Justin Willis.
Slight chance of rain Sunday before the next major storm moves in Monday. This one should last until Wednesday, with it dropping up to 2 inches of rain on the valley floor and up to 6 inches in the mountains. Keep an eye out for flood watches as we start next week. Otherwise, a pretty nice St. Patrick's Day afternoon, with valley highs right around normal in the upper 60s and increasing clouds. Overnight lows are in the 40s. For KMJ from the Fox 26 Weather Center, I'm Justin Willis.
With news on the hour, on the half, and when it breaks, and always streaming at KMJNow.com. I'm Jim Miller for News Talk 580, 105.9 KMJ.
And this traffic report is brought to you by carsforkids.org. Northbound 41 at the North Avenue off-ramp in Fresno County. There's been a collision, no injuries. A couple of incidents on eastbound 180, one at South Leonard, the other at South DeWolf. They were collisions, no injuries involved there. In Madera County, southbound 99, Avenue 18 and a half, a collision with no injuries. And as Jim mentioned, there's some major problems with the Tule River. Northbound 99 is a mess. Try to avoid it if at all possible because the river has overflowed and has closed down part of the highway there. There are traffic controls by the CHP. With KMJ Traffic, I'm Ron McCary.
That cruiser is pure gold.
Right you are, Daddy-O. Chuck Chansey Gold. It's the $600,000 Cruisin' Camaro giveaway. There are winners every day, February 27th through April 28th, only at Chuck Chansey Gold Resort and Casino.
Looking for a new dining and beverage experience? Come check out Genesis Bistro at the northeast corner of Cedar and Nice in Fresno, where the chef's cuisine, along with our mixologist full cocktail and wine bar, are getting people talking. Open for lunch and dinner, make your next meal with friends or family at Genesis Bistro, a one-of-a-kind experience. Also a great place to host a special event or celebration meal. To reserve an event, call 559-314-8284. Are you a talented hairstylist looking for a change? Check out 8028 Salon at Cedar and Nice, where we have open stations available and a move-in special. 8028 Salon offers a unique location and atmosphere for you and your clients. Elegantly located next to Genesis Bistro, your clients will have full options to enjoy food and drinks during service. 8028 Salon only has a few open stations left. Give your talents as a stylist the location you deserve at 8028 Salon. Inquire today at the location, northeast corner of Cedar and Nice in Fresno.
Well, that's it. Put a fork in us, we're done. Arrivederci, sayonara, we'll catch you on the flip side. Robinson's Home Furnishings at River Park is going out of business. After almost 23 years serving this wonderful community, our owner is retiring. And no, he's not relaxing. He'll be spending more time as a newly elected Kings County supervisor. As you know, with going out of business sales, the savings are monumental and everything must go. Come one, come all, for the absolute best lines in the furniture industry before they're gone. From Hooker Furniture to Braddington Young to Century to Stickley, they're all here for your selection. And yes, special orders are available. We will be delivering each and every one as they arrive over the next several months. Robinson's Home Furnishings at River Park, 110 East Alluvial, Fresno. The final sale with savings of up to 50% off MSRP. Hurry before we're gone. We love you, Fresno, Madera, Kings, and Tulare counties. Thank you for the decades of support. We will miss you.
Discount taken from the manufacturer's suggested retail price.
This report is sponsored by Blindster.com.
Hi, I'm Kyle at Blindster.com. Shopping for new blinds? At Blindster, we offer over 50 different blinds, shades, and shutters at low prices, custom made for your windows, and shipping is free. Shop at home and order 10 free samples of any product before you buy. Blindster.com.
Want to change the lives of children right here in our community? Donate your vehicle, boat, or motorcycle to carsforkids.org. As a thank you, we'll send you a $50 Visa gift card. So call 866-835-5437 or visit carsforkids.org and write off the car, not the kid.
KMJ's Afternoon Drive continues right now. Here's Philip and E.
That would be us. It's a St. Patrick's Day and a Friday nonetheless. Enjoy your evening. Not to sound like your mother, but let's all be safe. Let's not all be stupid. Let's not all make, well, considering what President Biden said earlier about his Irish ancestry, about, being drunk fighters. Let's prove the president wrong, shall we?
Please, my friends, let's leave it to the scotch. I'm fascinated by this guy, Dan Bongino. He has turned up from time to time as a nationally syndicated radio host, or at least a fill-in guy for nationally syndicated hosts. When Limbaugh's health was failing, Bongino pitched in over there quite a bit. And since then, he's got his podcast. He's a regular on Fox News and in the conservative blogosphere. And his biography is fascinating. He's just an interesting dude. I think that Dan Bongino, to analogize it badly, Dan Bongino is the Joe Rogan of real conservatism.
That's a good analogy.
And he was sounding off about this insane situation at Stanford with students coming in and booing a professor, preventing this person from delivering this lecture because of a political disagreement. And he kind of shifted from that into his connection with the social media platform Parler. And I jumped on Parler when it first popped up. I thought it was a really interesting idea. It had nothing to do with Bongino or anybody else in particular. I just thought that it had a lot of potential to really become its own conservative iteration of social media. And it has come to disappoint in every possible way. It's a ghost town now, relative to like Truth Social, and certainly relative to the big players.
So it's a platform that just never came to fruition, really.
Yeah, it was a good idea, but Parler is the mini disc player of social media.
Okay.
And Bongino was financially in it with Parler. He was one of the people who helped to fund this thing and get it off the ground. And he started talking about how he had been buried at Parler. And he claims that as a result of his partnership with them, that he says they, quote, stole hundreds of millions of dollars from me. I'm not sure if Dan Bongino's got quite the financial weight to swing that big of a check.
Hundreds of millions. That sounds a little like hyperbole.
Yeah, maybe stretching it a little bit for the sake of effect. He ultimately departed and broke off his relationship with Parler, and he's now partnered with Rumble, and is very much about trying to promote that as a true, pure free speech platform. And I would argue that Rumble is probably going to suffer a similar fate to Parler. That one-sided adoption. That the gravity well on that just keeps going back to Trump and Truth Social, in my opinion. That said, I do see people using Rumble. I do see reposts from that platform more than I do Parler. I haven't seen a repost from Parler in months. But Bongino says, I returned, I aligned myself with Rumble. We took the same battle plan for free speech, didn't cry about it, didn't whine about it. Ladies and gentlemen, they stole hundreds of millions of dollars from me. Is Bongino going to get into hot water for making a statement like that? Can he walk it back and say, okay, it wasn't hundreds of millions, it was hundreds of thousands, but it was still a big dent? Or is this guy going to end up funding Parler via defamation? Because that's the new tool, isn't it?
Yeah, attorneys are powerful weapons for revenge. Attorneys are powerful people when someone has some spite in them and they want to redress what they think is a wrong. I mean, I quite frankly, if someone said, E. Curtis Johnson has stole hundreds of millions of dollars from me, I would probably say, I'm going to call my attorney, because if it's not true, that's defamation.
My response would be, I wouldn't be driving a 20-year-old Mazda if I had.
Well, that's a good defense, but nonetheless, yeah. I mean, if somebody accused you of doing something that's criminal or nefarious, I tend to think that you would defend yourself.
You have no choice. And Bongino now having the Fox Nation show, he's a part of that subscription streaming lineup. I think he's a little bit bigger of a target. I don't know if Parler is organized enough. I don't know if they have enough leadership to even make a decision to move in that direction. But in terms of these lesser social media platforms, and there's been a couple that popped up when Twitter was in the process of moving into Musk's ownership and being taken private. There was another platform it was a Twitter clone. And for the life of me, I can't remember. It was like Brontosaurus or something like that. Like I can't remember the name, but for some reason, I think it was a dinosaur. It popped up, and it wasn't, we're a liberal free speech platform. It wasn't, we're a conservative free speech platform. It was, we're an alternative social media platform. Do you think people have invested so heavily as far as the time and the energy, the building of the friends list and the network with Facebook, with Twitter, and with Truth Social, that anybody who tries to create a social network at this point is just going to be seen as an also-ran?
Well, I would say that we are living in the fulfillment of Andy Warhol's statement.
Oh, yeah.
Back in the late 60s, I think it was, Andy Warhol said, in the future, everyone will be famous, but only for 15 minutes. I wonder if, and I'm not calling Andy Warhol a prophet, but it's a true statement. It's a true statement. We're seeing that right now with the number of social networks, news feeds, information sources. It's death by 1,000 needles, because if you've got if you've got a cell phone and you can buy a URL from whatever registering service you use, you are now your own network.
Yeah.
Whether anybody's watching or listening or not.
I almost think going back to, I'm going to go buy philipteresi.com. By the way, I own philipteresi.com. And I'm just going to do my own thing there. And if you want me, come and get me. I think that's the next wave, because at this point, I'm never going to be bigger or louder than Facebook or Twitter. And I don't think that these would-be free speech platforms are ever going to pull the following.
Well, if you're ever in doubt, you should do what our founding fathers insisted we do.
Kill the British.
After you kill the British, listen to good old-fashioned AM/FM radio. That's what our founding fathers said. I'm pretty sure George Washington said that. Or maybe it was Thomas Jefferson. It was one of those guys.
And checking up on traffic, northbound 41 at the North Avenue off-ramp. There's been a collision. Cleanup is going on there now. A couple of incidents at eastbound 180 in East Fresno, at South Leonard, and also at South DeWolf. There's been collisions. No injuries there. Madera County, southbound 99 and Avenue 18.5, a collision with no injuries. A reminder that Highway 137 from Avenue 152 to Farmersville is closed. Highway 43 south of Corcoran is closed down that highway. And northbound 99 from just south of Tipton on up to the southern part of Tulare. Lots of mess there because part of the Tule River system has overflowed and closed down part of Highway 99. With KMJ Traffic, I'm Ron McCary.
That cruiser is pure gold.
Right you are, Daddy-O. Chuck Chansey Gold. It's the $600,000 Cruisin' Camaro giveaway. There are winners every day, February 27th through April 28th. Only at Chuck Chansey Gold Resort and Casino.
Visit youcanbeatit.org or call 833-422-4255 to ask for medication to treat COVID-19. Sponsored by the California Department of Public Health.
Need gear for your hard-working lifestyle? WorkWorld's got you covered. Our warehouse clearance sale has thousands of work boots, pants, shirts, jackets, and more at 40 to 60% off. That's up to 60% off discontinued and closeout work boots and apparel. We carry the toughest brands like Carhartt, Wolverine, Keen, Timberland Pro, Dickies, and more. Hurry, this sale is going on now until March 27th at our Fresno, Santa Rosa, and Pittsburgh locations. Shop WorkWorld's warehouse clearance sale for the gear as tough as the work you do. WorkWorld, head-to-toe workwear. WorkWorld.com.
Cashback is not available on gas in New Jersey and Wisconsin.
Hey, good morning. You're heading to the airport, right?
Yep, thanks for checking. I like the car. How long have you been a rideshare driver?
About 3 years now, but I really enjoy it.
Isn't it hard to make money these days with the price of gas being so high?
Not for me. I use Upside, the free app that gives you cash back for every gallon of gas you buy.
Wait a minute. Are you saying you actually get real money back when you get gas with the Upside app?
Yep, I get real cash back every time I get gas.
Does that actually add up to anything?
I'll make around $200 to $300.
Wow, that's serious extra cash. I'm downloading the Upside app now.
Download the free Upside app now to earn real cash back every time you buy gas. Use promo code TAXI for an extra 25 cents a gallon bonus on your first tank. You can cash out anytime right to your bank account, PayPal, or a gift card for Amazon and other brands. Just download the free Upside app and use promo code TAXI for a 25 cents a gallon bonus on your first tank. That's code TAXI.
On December 15th, the Public Utilities Commission announced the biggest change to solar ever, NEM 3.0. And it's bad news for any farmer or business who has not gone solar already. But Pickett Solar, the Valley's leading commercial solar contractor, is here to help. It's called Net Energy Metering, or NEM. And under the current version, it's what makes solar such a great investment. With the newly passed NEM 3.0, the utilities will continue to keep raising your rates, will pay you less, and keep the profits for themselves. The value of solar will drop by 75%, and the payback period will go from 2 to 3 years to more than 10 years. There is still time to lock in the value of solar before this change happens. The deadline for NEM 2.0 savings is April 13th, so contact Pickett Solar today. Learn your options, see your savings, and allow us to submit your solar application under NEM 2.0. If you wait too long, NEM 3.0 could cost you millions. Go to PickettSolar.com.
Shop and swap at Selma Auto Mall this weekend. Over 600 vehicles on site to shop from. Get a free appraisal on your trade. Get top dollar or roll into a new purchase. 11 new car brands and the largest inventory of quality pre-owned cars in the Valley. If you're headed to the Selma Swap event, stop at the Selma Auto Mall. Shop and swap. Tacos and churros are free for the family this Sunday. The massive Selma Auto Mall. Highway 99 and 43. Why buy anywhere else?
Selma Swap. Buy or sell cars, parts, and big boy toys. March 18th, Highway 99 at Mountain View. 6 a.m. to 3 p.m., rain or shine. SelmaSwap.com.
Bring your friends and family to Castle Air Museum in Atwater and check out almost 80 vintage military aircraft exhibits open daily from 9 to 4. Check out castleairmuseum.org.
Awards and honors are nice, but keeping you informed and entertained is what keeps us coming to work every day. This is KMJ.
News Talk 580 and 105.9 KMJ. Thank you for choosing the afternoon drive. My name is E. Curtis Johnson. This is Philip Teresi. Hello again, Philip.
Good afternoon.
Now, for you, the KMJ listener, what we're about to say next may sound a little strange, but it is a moment of professional respect. It is a moment of sometimes when competitors say, okay, yes, on the battlefield of competition, I want to slit your throat. But when it comes down to it, we respect professionalism. So the Fresno Bee editor is going to be leaving the McClatchy organization, which is the parent company of who owns and operates the Fresno Bee. Now, in full disclosure, I was never a bee employee, but for about 16 months, I was a bee contributor. Back in 2014, 2015, I did a political rant that had a video component. I was on several radio stations, websites all over the West Coast, and because I knew some guys at the Bee and had worked for them at another radio station, namely Jim Boren, great guy. Jim is a great guy. So I was a Bee contributor, and my video rant was on FresnoBee.com.
Sure.
So I don't have radio stations and newspapers used to be great entities. In fact, 32 years ago when I came to Fresno, the Fresno Bee had more advertising revenue than all of the radio stations in Fresno combined.
Wow.
And incidentally, per capita, Fresno has more radio stations than any other city in the United States.
No kidding.
Yes, per capita, we are the most competitive radio market.
Wow.
And so for years, it was like all radio stations against the Bee.
Yeah.
Because all entities like a radio station, newspaper, magazine, website, we make our living obviously based off of commercial advertising.
Yeah, ultimately the business model is the same, and we're competing for the same pool of dollars.
Yes, absolutely. So whenever you see something like editor Joe Coyote is moving from the Fresno Bee as McClatchy continues to consolidate its operations in the Central Valley, what that's really saying is there are more layoffs. So again, I mean this with great respect. I do not know Joe, probably never will meet him, but just as a matter of professional respect and courtesy, especially when you consider the size of the Bee. Yeah. It's about 12 pages these days. We wish Joe well.
So McClatchy Corporation is going to replace Joe with Don Blount. Blount is the Central Valley executive editor and already is going to, as a part of this consolidation, will oversee the Fresno Bee, the Modesto Bee, and the Merced Sun Star. As somebody who has seen consolidation from this side of the competitive roadway, is that a smart business move to have a single person just in terms of managing staff and product? Is that a smart move to have a single person holding that many strings?
It's another S move. It's a survival move because all media is struggling for survival. Too much competition, and it increases every day.
See Curtis Johnson, I'm Philip Teresi. It's your afternoon drive at News Talk 580, 105.9 KMJ Hour 4 is on the way. Stick around.
Missed part of the show? Get the Afternoon Drive podcast at kmjnow.com or by searching KMJ's Afternoon Drive in Apple Podcasts or Spotify.
In order for small businesses to thrive, they need to be smart, efficient, agile, staying ahead of the market at every turn, and finding ways to do more with less. That's never been more important than it is right now. So for a limited time, Comcast Business is introducing Small Business Savings, a deal for companies across the country. When you call in now, you can get powerful internet for just $39 a month for 12 months. $39 a month, with no annual contract and a money-back guarantee. All on the largest, fastest, reliable network for small businesses, with the company that powers more businesses than anyone else. So if you're a small business owner, don't wait. Call and get started today. Comcast Business, powering possibilities.
Offer ends 3/21/23. Restrictions apply. New Comcast Business 50 megabits per second internet customers only. Requires EcoBill and AutoPay. Equipment, taxes, and fees extra and subject to change. Call or go online for details. After promo, regular rates apply.
Cashback is not available on gas in New Jersey and Wisconsin.
Susan, I'm sorry I'm late. Traffic is terrible.
It sure is. But on top of that, gas prices have been skyrocketing. I can't believe how expensive gas has gotten recently.
Prices at the pump are up, but I never pay full price for gas anymore. I just use the free Upside app that pays you cash back for every gallon of gas you buy.
Wait a minute. Are you saying you actually get paid cash when you buy gas with the Upside app?
Yes, I get real cash back every time I buy gas.
And does that actually add up to anything?
I've made around $200.
Wow, that's serious extra cash. I'm downloading the free Upside app now.
Download the free Upside app to earn real cash back every time you buy gas. Use promo code BEST for an extra 25 cents per gallon cash back on your first fill-up. You can cash out anytime right to your bank account, to PayPal, or an e-gift card for Amazon and other brands. Just download the free Upside app and use promo code BEST for a 25 cents per gallon bonus on your first tank. That's code BEST for 25 cents per gallon cash back on your first fill-up.
That cruiser is pure gold.
Right you are, Daddy-O. Chuck Chansey Gold. It's the $600,000 Cruisin' Camaro giveaway. There are winners every day, February 27th through April 28th. Only at Chuck Chansey Gold Resort and Casino.
The original KMJ, 580 AM, 105.9 FM, Fresno, a Cumulus media station.
It's 5 o'clock in Fresno. Good afternoon. I'm Jim Miller in the KMJ News Center. Well, today, as he continues his State of the State tour, California's governor at San Quentin State Prison announcing plans to change the prison, emphasizing rehabilitation, education, and training for less dangerous prisoners. KMJ's Liz Kern reports.
Standing among survivors of crime, victim advocates, and legislators, Governor Gavin Newsom announces plans to change the state prison, creating the California model for safety and justice.
We want to be the preeminent restorative justice facility in the world. That's the goal. San Quentin is iconic. San Quentin is known worldwide. If San Quentin can do it, it can be done anywhere else.
Newsom says the facility will be renamed the San Quentin Rehabilitation Center. $106,000 is spent to lock up one person in the state, but only 3.4% is spent for rehab programs. And 2/3 of people incarcerated will return to prison in 3 years.
This is about stretching people's minds about what we're capable of doing and reducing recidivism in this state and reducing the likelihood of someone coming back and not being a full member of society and keeping people safe and making sure that victims feel respected throughout that process.
The state has 668 prisoners who are mostly male facing death sentences. About 100 have already been moved. The event by Governor Newsom is the second in his State of the State tour. Liz Kern, KMJ News.
A Fresno man's been indicted for escape from federal custody. Department of Justice says Gabriel Mata was sentenced to 30 months in prison after pleading guilty to being a felon in possession of a firearm. He was transferred to the Turning Point Residential Reentry Center in Fresno. In December 2021, Mata disappeared during a routine count at the facility. If convicted, Mata could face a maximum of 5 years behind bars and a $250,000 fine. Local ski resort reopening after getting slammed by severe weather. China Peak reopened today. It'll remain open Thursday to Monday through April 23rd. Officials say China Peak has received nearly 20 feet of snow and heavy rain over the past 2 weeks. New survey reveals most people want to see better labeling of plant-based chicken products. KMJ Ag Director Don York reports.
The National Chicken Council released survey results on what people think about chicken and plant-based chicken alternatives. Most people want clearer product labeling and separate shopping sections for plant-based products. The National Chicken Council believes the term chicken should only be used for food products made from the actual animal. 1 in 5 Americans reported that they accidentally purchased a plant-based product believing it to be real chicken. Survey results also show that consumers, including those who eat plant-based chicken, prefer authentic chicken for taste, affordability, and cooking versatility. Don York, KMJ News.
Now the forecast from Fox 26 is Justin Willis.
Slight chance of rain Sunday before the next major storm moves in Monday. This one should last until Wednesday, with it dropping up to 2 inches of rain on the valley floor and up to 6 inches in the mountains. Keep an eye out for flood watches as we start next week. Otherwise, a pretty nice St. Patrick's Day afternoon, with valley highs right around normal in the upper 60s and increasing clouds. Overnight lows are in the 40s. For KMJ from the Fox 26 Weather Center, I'm Justin Willis.
With news on the hour, on the half, and when it breaks, and always streaming at KMJNow.com. I'm Jim Miller for News Talk 580, 105.9 KMJ.
And taking a look at our Friday afternoon traffic, as I've been telling you all afternoon, northbound 99 around Tipton on up to the southern portion of Tulare, the city of Tulare. There's a lot of creeping and crawling there because part of the highway became flooded by the Tule River. And CHP is offering traffic control there, or requiring it actually. Roads off the freeway in that area are quite congested as well, as some people are leaving the freeway for other routes. Highway 43 south of Corcoran is closed to a full closure. Highway 137 in Tulare County is closed from 152, that's Avenue 152, to Farmersville. And one last thing here for you, in Tulare, southbound 99 at the Bardsley off-ramp, there's been a collision with minor injuries. With KMJ Traffic, I'm Ron McCary.
Want to change the lives of children right here in our community? Donate your vehicle, boat, or motorcycle to carsforkids.org. As a thank you, we'll send you a $50 Visa gift card. So call 866-835-5437 or visit carsforkids.org and write off the car, not the kid.
That cruiser is pure gold.
Right you are, Daddy-O. Chuck Chansey Gold. It's the $600,000 Cruisin' Camaro giveaway. There are winners every day, February 27th through April 28th. Only at Chuck Chansey Gold Resort and Casino.
Now, KMJ's Afternoon Drive with Philip Teresi and E. Curtis Johnson.
Hey, that is us. And it's past 5 o'clock on a Friday, a St. Patrick's Day, nonetheless. Let's have a little fun, shall we? Now, Philip, I got to warn you here. You may think I have lost my mind about what I'm about to say. And you may be right. I may have lost my mind. But here's the thing. So I think it was like 2011, 2012. I'm working at my office at my house. And my son comes in. He's a senior in high school. One of my sons, he's a senior in high school. And he comes in, he starts talking to me. You're a parent. You've had this before. It's one of those conversations where, as a dad, you just know he's about to hit you up for something.
I know these conversations. Yes.
Okay. So I thought he was going to hit me up for money. Instead, he said, hey, so-and-so got this dog. They can't keep it. Can we have a dog? Knowing full well that that was the last thing I wanted. And so I gave him some pushback to see how serious he was.
Yeah.
In fact, I gave him some serious pushback about, no, people live here, yes, but we're gone a lot. That dog is not going to get the attention it needs. It's just going to be here by itself, blah, blah, blah. And he squared his shoulders, and he looked his old man in the eye, and he goes, Dad, I want that dog.
Good for him.
And I thought, well, okay, this is more than just about a young man wanting a dog.
Sure.
This is about a young man becoming a man. And so we talked about it, and I said, okay, all right, I will take down all of my objections about getting a dog, but you have to take care of it. I'm not going to watch after that dog. Neither is your mom, and you can't slough it off on your brothers. If you want the dog, it's your dog. Okay, well, fine. So we got the dog. It was a chocolate lab.
Yeah.
So I come home the next day. I was working a morning show at the time. So I got home like 3:30 in the afternoon. My son who had just graduated from high school, he was at work, so he wasn't home yet. My wife was home. I came in. I sit down on the couch for a minute. The dog is looking at me from the middle of the living room floor, just staring at me. I'm sitting there, and so I thought, okay, what the heck? So I took my left hand and I just patted the couch cushion. The dog jumped up on the couch, laid down, put his head in my lap. An hour later, as my son comes home, there's his old man and his new dog asleep together on the couch. And
I know this story. I know this story from firsthand experience. Yes.
Yeah. So last October, the dog, whose name was Romeo, by the way, I didn't name him. My son named him. But considering Romeo the lover, that was a good name for that dog. That dog was an absolute love. And I loved that dog.
Oh, yeah.
Last October, I had to take Romeo to the vet. And it was his last time.
Yeah.
And anyway, I'm sorry. I digress. I loved that dog. In fact, I loved that dog so much. 2 months into it, I said, you know what? It's not fair that Romeo has to spend all this time alone. He needs a buddy.
Oh, yeah.
At that point, my family said, okay, who are you and what have you done with our father? Because I was always anti-dog, only because we'd had a bunch of bad dogs who hated me. I'd walk in the house and some of these dogs we had in the past would growl at me. Oh, my God. But anyway, so we got another lab. We went to Lab Rescue, a fantastic organization, and we ended up with a black lab. And my youngest son named him, and both my sons at the time were into acting, so we named the black lab Mercutio, because Romeo Mercutio. By the way, never name two dogs after troublemakers in a Shakespeare play, because life imitates art. So, loved both of these dogs, loved the breed. I would frequently take them for walks together. People would see us and go, oh, wow, sir, those are fantastic-looking dogs. I'd say, yes, they are, and they're my dogs. So the point of this diatribe is Labradors are now not the most favorite breed in America.
According to who?
Well, according to, this is a U.S. Today article. But supposedly now, French bulldogs are the most popular dogs in the United States of America. Now, I don't want to drive away KMJ listeners because I've only been here 2 weeks, but getting Labradors getting beat out by anything French, I'm sorry, that's about as anti-American as you get. As a red-blooded American male, I take offense to this. I mean, French bulldogs, okay, maybe they're cute or maybe they're ugly. To me, they look like they were running real fast and they hit their nose on a wall and it got shoved up in their face. They're the kind of dogs that Paris Hilton would put in her purse and carry around.
No, they're not, because inside of every French bulldog is a Tasmanian devil.
Okay, so they have a psycho side to them.
They are Their energy level on a scale of 1 to 10 is a hard 13.
Oh.
They are lunatics. And a good Frenchie who's been socialized, who's been trained, they're fun. It's way too much energy for me. I like my sleepy dogs. The problem is there's a whole lot of people that got Frenchies because they heard Lady Gaga had Frenchies, and they got these little balls of energy, and they haven't socialized them and trained them. And an unsocialized, untrained Frenchie it's a nightmare. And I think this is one of those moments. You remember when Game of Thrones got crazy popular?
Yeah.
And all of a sudden, everybody had to have a husky because, of course, dire wolves aren't a thing.
Oh, okay. All right.
So everybody went and got huskies because they wanted wolf-looking dogs. And what do you know about huskies?
They are not real family-friendly. Hyper animals. Beautiful, but hyper.
They are beautiful. They are funny. They are intelligent. I love huskies. I will never allow another husky in my house. We fostered one for 3 months, and that dog did almost $1,500 worth of property damage.
Ooh.
And that's with twice-a-day walks and a huge yard and 2 other dogs to play with. And I came home one day, and the dog was standing on the dining room table with most of my wife's flowers in its mouth. They are so funny and so sweet, and I look forward to playing with them at the dog park, and I will never have another husky. Unless I had a ranch in Montana, someplace where I can just turn them loose to run and run and run and run.
Yeah, a husky's not a house dog.
No. But you had this thing where the husky crept up because it was stylish, it was fashionable, it was the cool thing to have. And now there's a whole bunch of huskies at husky rescues, and God bless the people that are taking care of that mess. The Frenchie's the next husky. It's popular because a couple rich and famous people had them. It's not the number one dog because it's actually a superior breed to labs.
Okay. So this is a social trend. This is somebody emulating what a celebrity has done, and not the future course of America.
No, the Frenchie is the Kim Kardashian of canines.
Oh, okay.
This is just Lady Gaga got one, so a whole bunch of people went out and got one, and they're all realizing now. And of course, what do you do when you make a bad decision? What do? You double down. No. This is the best thing I've ever cooked, I say, through a mouthful of ashes and salt.
Yeah, boy, you're right on that. You're so right on that.
Yeah.
So in other words, because I'm upset as a red-blooded American male, reveling in my macho-ness that I had 2 Labradors at one point, because French bulldogs are now the most popular dog in America, I don't have to do the other American thing to do, which is whenever something happens in America that you don't like, you say, I'm moving to Canada. So I don't have to move to Canada because Frenchies are for a moment in time, the number one dog in America.
Yeah, it is the Beanie Baby of pet choices.
Okay.
It's people doing a thing because it's a popular thing to do. And again, well-trained, well-socialized, they are sweet. They are fun. It's like a pug on crack.
All right, I feel better. I will come down off my high horse, maybe have a kibble or 2, and just relax.
No, I understand why Labrador is the most popular breed. A friend of my family had black labs at one point. This lunatic had 5 black labs in his pack.
Oh my!
He was basically running his own rescue. I know that breed. I enjoy that breed. I made the decision to adopt from SPCA.
Okay.
Wife and kids, very, very similar conversation. We want a dog.
Yeah.
No. Well, we really want a dog. Really, no. We'll take care of it and clean up after it and walk it and groom it, and you don't have to do anything. Okay. All right. I did that thing that dads do. I choose to believe you. And we went to SPCA and we found this dog, and he was kind of a mutt. And we knew there was a little bit of pit in there, and we knew there was a little bit of shepherd in there. And I'm going, oh, but we have a small kid, but this dog's really chill. We adopted Teddy. We brought Teddy home, and Teddy he's mostly American Staffordshire. He's mostly pit bull.
Okay.
But he's a proper mutt. He is what you expect when you go to the SPCA. He is the sweetest, most low-key, loving animal. He's a good boy. My wife's grandmother, Grandma Phyllis, 93 years old. This is not somebody who can abide rough treatment from a 70-pound animal. Loves Teddy. When she comes over to the house, they just sit together.
So he's gentle.
He's just as sweet as can be. And then we've got our shepherd, and I have learned so much about shepherds. My shepherd is very smart, very sweet, likes babies, but I'm not sure she can eat a whole one.
Whoa. I'm pretty sure he said baby Ruths.
Yeah, no, babies. We learned that she cannot deal with children at eye level.
Okay.
I always thought that shepherds were going to be this kind of like butch, tough, I'm thinking of police dogs. No, it turns out that the natural predisposition of shepherd is princess.
Ooh.
I didn't know that dogs could tiptoe until I let a German shepherd out in the rain for the first time.
Oh, my gosh.
Just prissy dogs. Beautiful, good dogs, but forget it. If you want something to guard your house, get a husky. At least they'll talk the guy to death.
There you go.
C. Curtis Johnson, Philip Teresi, your afternoon drive at News Talk 580, 105.9 KMJ, and online always at KMJNow.com.
And looking at traffic in Tulare, the city of Tulare, southbound 99 at the Bardsley off-ramp, there's been a collision. Minor injuries there. I keep reminding you every break, northbound 99 from Tipton almost all the way up to Tulare is a really slow going. Lanes have been cut down due to flooding from the Tule River. CHP has traffic control in effect. Side roads are kind of busier than they usually are. With KMJ Traffic, I'm Ron McCurry.
That cruiser is pure gold.
Right you are, Daddy-O. Chuck Chansey Gold. It's the $600,000 Cruisin' Camaro giveaway. There are winners every day, February 27th through April 28th. Only at Chuck Chansey Gold Resort and Casino.
As a leprechaun, I've always been blessed with the luck of the Irish. Until me luck ran out and me air conditioning broke. How am I supposed to focus on counting me gold coins now? So I called Lee's Air Plumbing and Heating. They've been servicing the valley for over 40 years.
Lee's Air Plumbing and Heating. Oh, wow. Sir, just calm down.
Sorry, you got to fix me AC. Leprechauns are not built for this kind of weather.
We'll send a licensed, friendly professional out right away.
Lee's got me back up and running. Now I can count me gold coins in peace.
Get $1,000 towards a new warranty-backed HVAC unit when you trade in your old one. Lee's Air Plumbing and Heating offers 0 interest and no payment for 18 months. No monthly payments, same as cash. Call Lee's Air Plumbing and Heating today for a free estimate at 559-785-1212. That's 559-785-1212. CLN 635355.
Selma Swap. Buy or sell cars, parts, and big boy toys. March 18th, Highway 99 at Mountain View. 6 a.m. to 3 p.m., rain or shine. SelmaSwap.com.
Shop and swap at Selma Auto Mall this weekend. Over 600 vehicles on site to shop from. Get a free appraisal on your trade. Get top dollar or roll into a new purchase. 11 new car brands and the largest inventory of quality pre-owned cars in the valley. If you're headed to the Selma Swap event, stop at the Selma Auto Mall. Shop and swap. Tacos and churros are free for the family this Sunday. The massive Selma Auto Mall. Highway 99 and 43. Why buy anywhere else?
I studied Spanish in college and never got fluent. But then I tried Babbel.
Want the most effective way to learn another language? In just 15 minutes a day, Babbel's bite-sized lessons will have you learning another language in as little as 3 weeks.
Babbel is all conversation-based, so it gets you speaking quickly about things you actually talk about in the real world.
You'll really see a difference in how you can speak and how conversational you can be in just a few weeks.
Babbel isn't just lessons. You can listen to podcasts, play games, watch videos. You can even take live online classes with a language teacher. There are so many ways to learn with Babbel.
The lessons online and in the app make it easy to learn from pretty much anywhere.
University studies have shown that using Babbel for 15 hours is equivalent to a semester of college Spanish. If you want to learn a new language, there's no better way than Babbel. Go to Babbel.com to try for free. That's Babbel.com. Babbel.com.
Solar Negotiators wants people to know about our new Power Shift program. So we're offering $1,500 off per smart battery to customers now through May 31st. Be the first to experience the Power Shift. Call Solar Negotiators today for your free quote.
The story of the nurse and the foot pain that nearly brought him down.
I feel like I'm giving people their lives back.
Robert lived to take care of his patients, but he couldn't do it unless he took care of his foot pain.
I have plantar fasciitis. It'll almost put you on your knees. That's how much it hurts.
His own recovery started when he got fitted for arch supports at the Good Feet store.
Now that I'm pain free, I can make these people feel better.
Can't beat that. Stop by or schedule your free fitting at goodfeet.com. The children's music and dance teacher who couldn't cha-cha.
I was always on my feet. It was just so painful.
Elisa couldn't let her students down, so she stepped up and went to the Good Feet store for personally fitted arch supports.
I would work an entire day, and my feet didn't hurt at the end of the day. That was when I knew, wow, these are different.
But the really good part?
It's good to be dancing together again.
Stop by or schedule your free fitting at goodfeet.com.
Step into your Good Feet store in Fresno, Merced, and Visalia. Good Feet, the official arch support of Fresno State Athletics.
Donate your old vehicle to carsforkids.org, the best car vehicle donation program. Your generosity changes the lives of kids right here in our community with a second chance to build a better future. Before you sell or give away that old vehicle in any condition, please donate it to carsforkids.org. Carsforkids.org takes cars, trucks, motorcycles. Pickup is free, plus you'll get a $50 Visa gift card as a special thank you. It's so easy to donate at carsforkids.org. Please, write off the car, not the kid.
McCaffrey Homes model grand opening is here. 11 new model homes now open at Tesoro Viejo. Tesoro Viejo was just named the nation's Community of the Year, and the incentives and savings are spectacular. Priced from the high 300s to the low 800s, the Poppy, Savannah, and Ivy home collections offer designs with up to 5 bedrooms to fit all lifestyles and budgets. All in a community made for resort-style living. Visit today. Highway 41 and Avenue 15, just minutes north of River Park. Learn more at McCaffreyHomes.com.
News Talk 580 and 105.9 KMJ. It's after 5 on a Friday. This is the afternoon drive. My name is E. Curtis Johnson. Philip Teresi is there.
Happy St. Patrick's Day. Hope you've made your ride share or stumble home plans, although I will continue to insist that you haven't done St. Patrick's Day right if it doesn't involve stumbling home.
That is kind of, they go together. As much as I hate to admit it, they definitely go together.
I, however, will not be participating because I am old and think that other people having that much fun is obnoxious.
You know what? Speaking of having fun, one of the things that we sometimes forget about in Fresno is the impact that we have on the coastal economy and the mountain economy.
Yeah.
For example, I had a job once where I oversaw a group of radio stations in other markets. Well, one of those markets was San Luis Obispo. And while San Luis Obispo, we don't want those people from Bakersfield and Fresno coming here, except to spend money.
Oh, yeah.
They want the tourist dollars. But we have a different situation with communities like Shaver Lake, which are symbiotic with Fresno. I feel bad for some of those businesses up there. The last week and a half, we've had excess snow. We've got all kinds of rain. And there has been this feeling, if you don't have to travel, don't do it. And especially don't go to the mountains because it's dangerous. Well, now you've got these people up there, unfortunately, their livelihood, which is going to get a benefit later in the snow and ski season than it normally would. But if you got a chance to support those mountain communities, go skiing, go for a drive, buy something in a store that's up there. Those are our neighbors.
Yeah, actually Supervisor Magsig popped up talking about this. saying that, with everybody having been closed for weeks and no travelers being able to get there, you're seeing Hungry Hut and all of this stuff up in Shaver in particular, they're really suffering. Supervisor Magzig says these businesses are suffering. Something like tips even go a long way to help rejuvenate business. Hungry Hut tried to open a few days after that initial closure back in February, but it didn't work out. Her employees couldn't even get up there.
Wow.
I'm really looking forward to getting back up to Shaver Lake. That's one of my favorite places to just go and chill out. Back when I was young and staying up until the sun came up didn't mean that I had effectively taken myself out of the rat race for 4 days. I would take off in the car, maybe grab a couple of friends, maybe just go solo and buzz up to Shaver Lake and that day use area.
Yes.
I would hang out there all night and just sit by the lake shore and enjoy the quiet and the peace. I probably wasn't a major contributor to the local economy, but it's a beautiful spot. Additionally, China Peak is trying to reopen as well. And so if you're headed up that way, that's just a little bit further up the road.
I was talking to a friend of mine yesterday who is a skier.
Yeah.
And they were just giddy beside themselves at the skiing opportunities. I mean, the last couple of years, skiing in mid-March, that was never a case. Now they've got some of the best snow up there that you could ever have.
Oh, yeah. I have to confess something, though.
Yes?
I have not skied since I was a child. Like a kid. My dad loved to ski. And I just, somewhere along the way, I lost the thread. So I have not been skiing since adolescence. I go to China Peak every year, but I go in the summertime. The only time I've been up there has been like for weddings and parties, and they've got the Indian Pools hiking area on the backside. Love going back there and spending a day hiking around and just taking it in. Can I go to China's Peak if I don't intend to ski? Like, can I just go hang out in the lodge?
Yeah, it's a great season to hang out in the lodge. They have the last time I was at China Peak. It's been a number of years, but I could swore they had a restaurant there in that lodge.
Oh yeah, no, that they've got a nice restaurant. They've got a beautiful deck area outside. A friend of mine had a wedding up there 2 years ago in the springtime, and so the snow was pretty much gone by the time we got up there. But it was gorgeous. It's just a beautiful spot.
Well, not to tell you what to do, but maybe that's a day date, middle of the day date for you and your wife. Lunch at China Peak.
That's not a bad idea.
By the way, I'm not paying for that. Just because I suggested it doesn't mean I'm buying you lunch.
No, if I go up there and I do show prep, I can expense it, right?
Of course. You write it off on your taxes.
I can hear the boss right now. No, Philip. One thing, though, and this is, I am absolutely not bringing this up to discourage anybody, but just a mindfulness piece as I say, yes, go to Shaver, spend money. Yes, go to China Peak, spend money. Hit the restaurants, hit the gas stations, hit the bars, hit the slopes. Do all of that. Get a room at China Peak. Make a weekend out of it. And make sure that when you go, your boss knows where you went. So if you have to call them and say, hey, 168's not going to be open until Tuesday. Especially right there at the 4 lanes, it's been on again, off again since this storm system started up 2 weeks ago. And they were down to 1 lane on Thursday because of the movement of the snow and water. They're taking care of it. They're dealing with it. But go, have fun, enjoy it, and make sure that you've got the leeway to come in on Tuesday because it might take that long to get back down the hill.
That's always a possibility when you're going to the mountains. That's fair.
Yeah, normally I wouldn't even think of saying something, but while I don't believe that the drought cycle's over, just the rock slide, mudslide thing, and it's a result of the burn scar and everything else that's happened to that mountain over the past 4 years.
But for this weekend, it's going to be, in terms of scenic, I mean, you're talking pristine alpine scenery. Green trees, dusted, and in some cases buried in very, very white snow.
Oh, it's
going to be gorgeous.
It's going to be just everything that you want out of a weekend in the snow, you're going to get up there this weekend. So I would say if you've got the time, make the plans, get up there. This would be a great time to sneak off on a vacation week. Is anybody actually doing anything? Like this time of year, is it like there's no other than the CPAs, like this isn't a crunch time business wise, right?
I don't think so. Although there is St. Patrick's Day today. For some, that's a national holiday. but that's over at midnight. So, tomorrow, get to the mountains.
Yeah, check it out. And if you want to hear more about this, go find Supervisor Magsig. He's pretty prolific on Facebook. He posts a lot of good video, and he's got a lot of good communication and messages. Whether you're concerned about road conditions or you just want to know what spots to hit, Supervisor Magsig has been an incredible advocate for just the entire mountain.
KMJ News now.
It's 5:30 in Fresno. Good afternoon. I'm Jim Miller in the KMJ News Center. A preliminary hearing continues today after a woman accused of killing a Fresno teenager found to have prescription drugs in her system. A toxicologist testified the results yesterday during a preliminary hearing. Lisa Spore's facing murder and other charges for a crash that killed the 15-year-old boy. The doctor said the drugs in her system are used for the treatment of ADHD and anxiety. Yosemite National Park set to reopen this weekend after nearly 3 weeks of closure. Crews working on clearing rock slides due to the recent storms. The park will open with limited services tomorrow from sunrise to sunset. The only route to the park is through El Portal Road. Big Oak Flat and Wawona roads are going to be closed. Former Baywatch actress found not guilty of stealing chickens at the Foster Farms plant in Merced. KMJ's Liz Kern reports.
The group Direct Action Everywhere protested in September 2021 outside the Foster Farms plant in Livingston. Some activists chained themselves on top of a truck. Former Baywatch star Alexander Paul and animal rights activist Alicia Santurio stole 2 chickens from a truck going into the plant, saying they were protesting inhumane treatment of animals and employee behavior.
I've been doing this job for 20 years, and this is the first time I've seen something like that.
That's Merced County Sheriff's Deputy Daryl Allen speaking to our news partner Fox 26. They arrested 11 people for trespassing and resisting arrest. Paul and Santurio could have spent 6 months in jail, but on Friday they were found not guilty of misdemeanor theft. Liz Kern, KMJ News.
Now the forecast from Fox 26 is Justin Willis.
Slight chance of rain Sunday before the next major storm moves in Monday. This one should last until Wednesday, with it dropping up to 2 inches of rain on the valley floor and up to 6 inches in the mountains. Keep an eye out for flood watches as we start next week. Otherwise, a pretty nice St. Patrick's Day afternoon, with valley highs right around normal in the upper 60s and increasing clouds. Overnight lows are in the 40s. For KMJ from the Fox 26 Weather Center, I'm Justin Willis.
With news on the hour, on the half, and when it breaks, and always streaming at KMJNow.com. I'm Jim Miller for News Talk.
And taking a look at traffic, sponsored by carsforkids.org. Been telling you all afternoon, northbound 99 from Tipton up to the southern part of Tulare is slow going. There's traffic control due to flooding from the Tule River. Other areas closed, Highway 43 south of Corcoran, Highway 137 from Avenue 152 to Farmersville. In Tulare itself, southbound 99 at the Bartley off-ramp, there's been a collision, minor injuries there. Also in Tulare County, Highway 198 at North Anderson Road, a collision, injuries involved, emergency vehicles were called. With KMJ Traffic, I'm Ron McCary.
Ever wonder why your business doesn't show up on online search maps, but your competitors do? It's hundreds of things. Things that Cumulus Boost can identify and fix. And that's how we boost your findability. CumulusBoost.com. CUMULUS Boost.com.
Listen to what Dave Ryan says about Andro 400.
Andro 400, I really love it. It's amazing to me that I feel so good. I've lost 50 pounds. I was a size 38 waist. I've gone down to a 32 waist. My mood has changed. I don't get stressed out. It gave me so much more energy. Energy to walk. Energy to play sports. Everything is starting to work again. It feels like I'm 25. My wife is happy. I'm so happy. I'm just a completely different man. I'm taking this stuff to the grave with me.
Men, have you lost energy and gained belly fat? Are you feeling stressed out? Fight back with Andro 400, the safe, natural, and inexpensive way to increase your testosterone. For over a decade, Andro 400 has helped men lose belly fat, gain energy, and feel 20 years younger. Go to andro400.com, andro400.com, or call 888-400-0435. 888-400-0435.
You know the first floor at Crawdaddy's can get a little wild. When the crawdads kick it in and the crowd begins to rev up, it's like party time. The food, the service, the music, outrageous on that first floor, the legendary first floor of Crawdaddy's. A freestanding 3-story monument to all that is New Orleans. But maybe you are a bit more reserved. You'd like to quietly lay back in an opulent atmosphere with nothing but first-class food. An amazing long bar to satisfy your adult cravings. I recently took a very quiet table confined to a corner, had my favorite calamari appetizer with a lobster tail as the main entree. Very opulent, very relaxing, but at Crawdaddy's, it's the best of both worlds, the first or the second floor. Hey, you can always do both. You can go up to the second floor and relax with an incredible menu and that gorgeous atmosphere. And then you can go downstairs and rock until you blow your socks off. Crawdaddy's on Main and Visalia. And what's on the third floor? I'm never telling.
Are the continuous rising energy bills crushing you? Want to pay less for your home's electricity and lock in that lower rate into the future? Your family deserves the best. And when it comes to powering your home, there's no better provider than Simply Solar. With Simply Solar, going solar has never been easier. From our expert consultants to our in-house installers and the best financing. No payments for 18 months. Take advantage of the solar tax credit before it's gone. Going with Simply Solar means more money in your pocket for the things that matter, plus clean and renewable power to light up your home and family. Call now for a free consultation. For our Central Valley listeners, mention this radio ad for $1,000 off your solar system. Net metering ends in California on April 13th. Call Simply Solar at 559-892-1043 now. That's 559-892-1043. Simply Solar, keeping solar simple. 559-892-1043.
That cruiser is pure gold.
Right you are, Daddy-O. Chuck Chansey Gold. It's the $600,000 Cruisin' Camaro giveaway. There are winners every day, February 27th through April 28th. Only at Chuck Chansey Gold Resort and Casino.
KMJ's afternoon drive continues right now. Here's Philip and E.
You are a danger to both the dead and the living.
I like to think I'm a master of my own destiny.
Philip and E, that would be us. We have actually known each other since 1997. I've worked together twice before in the past, and I got to tell you, the last 2 weeks has been great. It's great pairing up with you again.
No, I'm so glad you took the job, man. This has been a lot of fun.
So am I. There was a kind of a test the relationship moment earlier in the week when I can't remember what we were talking about, but I mentioned that one of my favorite foods is the Italian in him is going to go apoplectic here. One of my favorite foods is Chef Boyardee ravioli from the can with a side of cottage cheese. There's just something about
there's something about it.
The combination of those two. Now, it's not like I mix them together in a blender. And for the most part, yes, I'm trying to lessen the effects. This poor man, the Italian in him is like just twisting. But it's okay. I'm going to try and deflect the weirdness of Chef Boyardee ravioli with cottage cheese with a new combination that's come out. In fact, it's being promoted by Lindsay Lohan. Now, quite frankly, as a Christian, I'm a believer in redemption.
Sure.
So it's nice to see that Lindsay Lohan is working again. You know, I mean, she's got her whole life ahead of her. She's had some crazy, insane chick moments in the past, but, you know, I'd like to think, hey, she's working. She's making a living. She's got a national sponsor, Pepsi. However, when you find out, Philip, what the combination is, it's gonna make my ravioli out of a can and cottage cheese look like mother's milk, because actually it does involve
milk with, well, let me put it this way. The new combination is called Pilk, which, okay, as someone who's made his living with words his entire life, that's bad copywriting right there. Pilk.
Oh, yeah.
No, Pilk does not sound appetizing in the least. But the new fad that all the cool kids are doing, Philip, is Pepsi with milk, hence the Pilk. What do you think? I know you occasionally imbibe. Is
not that?
Come on, the weekend's here. You know, maybe you and the missus try a little Pilk.
No.
Sit down on the couch. Maybe put a little fire in the fireplace. Watch a romantic movie and have a couple of glasses of Pilk.
No, I don't think that's going to work out for me.
That's not like a hot Friday night for you.
Two things about this surprise me. One is that Lindsay Lohan agreed to do this. Because, I mean, look, if you're scratching for cash, you're scratching for cash. And if Pepsi walked up to me with $1 million and said, hey, come talk about this thing, I take it, okay? I'm not going to pretend I'm too good.
Let's face it, you and I have both done endorsements for less.
Yeah. What's surprising me is actually the pushback on this one. Everybody who's recoiling in horror from this has apparently forgotten about the existence of the root beer float.
Oh my gosh, I never thought about that. I love root beer floats. Hey, Maria is on the line. She says that Pilk is actually really good.
I'm okay. Maria, welcome to KMJ. Good afternoon. Happy St. Patrick's Day.
Thank you. You too.
Is this a combination that you have attempted?
I actually have it. I used to drink it a lot as a kid.
And
in fact,
but as an adult, doesn't it have the potential to generate a little unrest?
No, it's actually really good. It's kind of like the root beer float thing that you guys kind of commented on. But if you guys remember Laverne and Shirley, Laverne used to drink that all the time.
Really?
Yeah, and that's why I tried it back in the 80s because
Sure.
I'm like, I don't know. But it's actually really good.
So this is not a new thing. It's just kind of a revival or a reminder.
Exactly. When I first saw it the first time on an ad with Lindsay Lohan, I thought, this isn't new. This is back in the old days. We used to do this back in Laverne and Shirley days.
Oh, Maria, I appreciate the call and the clarification. I honestly did not remember Laverne drinking that, although I have to admit I haven't seen an episode of Laverne and Shirley since I was 3.
Well, yeah, so it was a long time ago, but I remember seeing it on Laverne and Shirley.
Yeah.
And I thought, well, so why not try it? Because we drank Pepsi like water, and it's actually really good, especially if you get it ice cold where it almost turns into crystals, and then you add the milk to it. It's delicious.
Maria, thank you for the call. I appreciate the testimony. Be safe out there.
All right, you guys have a good day.
Now, as a side note,
yeah,
the idea of milk and Pepsi is disgusting, but you've really turned me on my edge with, I love root beer floats, and it's the same thing.
It's the same thing because I've seen people, not with Pepsi, but with Coca-Cola, make Coke floats.
Yeah.
And I know milk and ice cream aren't exactly the same thing, but you're talking about the same baseline ingredients. You know what I think the issue is with the Pilk campaign? It's Lindsay. Because people aren't thinking about this young woman who is getting her life on track and working her way back into the business and picking up an endorsement to just come out and be wholesome and sweet and here's this thing you can do. I think that everybody is imagining the Pepsi milk combination, but with the little faint twinge of old cigarettes that ride on the breath of Lindsay Lohan. That's what's throwing everybody off. Old Camels.
You could be right.
Yeah, what surprises me about this is the way they positioned it as like, this would be a good combination with cookies. You're overdoing it. Because again, if you're going back to the root beer float thing, Have you ever seen somebody add cookies to a root beer float? You're gilding the lily.
Well, no, but an Oreo float is a thing where it crushed Oreos. And
sure.
And that, that's a cookie. It's kind of similar. You got chocolate and dairy products.
See, that's getting off into stoner food, though. That's reminding me of my buddies Charlie and Billy getting the Toll House cookie dough log and chopping it up and putting it in the oven, and then going back to enjoying that evening's viewing of Pink Floyd's The Wall, and you don't remember the cookies are there until the smoke alarm goes off, but you don't want to throw them away because, golly, I'm hungry and I was looking forward to that, so you break them up into a bowl and pour milk on them like cereal.
Dude, munchies.
Going back to yesterday's conversation, that the worst thing about pot is that you'll grow up to not be very good at anything. The second worst, that you'll give yourself diabetes in one sitting.
So no pilk. We're gonna.
No, if I'm gonna do soda pop dairy combination, I'm gonna do a root beer float.
Okay.
I'm gonna go for the real deal.
I'm with you there.
And again, it's that just that little faint breath of cigarettes that throws me off.
And taking one last look at traffic for this Friday afternoon in the Tulare area, Highway 188, that's Highway 198 at North Anderson Road, a collision with injuries involved. Emergency vehicles were called. In the city of Tulare itself, southbound 99 at the Bardsley off-ramp, there was a collision with minor injuries. Again, problems around Tipton. Northbound 99 is requiring CHP control because the Tule River has caused some flooding in parts of that highway. With KMJ Traffic, I'm Ron McCary.
Coming soon from Valley PBS, the exclusive documentary film covering 100 years of KMJ. Stay tuned for details.
Is your well almost dry, or is it dry? Are you on a waiting list to have a well drilled? Have you been turned away from other drilling companies who can't handle the hard rock drilling conditions in your area? Strickland Well Drilling is here for you. With over 2 decades of experience specializing in residential, agricultural, and hard rock drilling, Strickland Well Drilling proudly serves Fresno, Tulare, Kings, and Madera counties. Don't wait. Make the call today at 352-7228. Again, 352-7228. Or for more information, visit StricklandWellDrilling.com. Whether it's the soft, sandy soils of the West, the clay and cobble of the East, or the hard rock mountainous terrain, Strickland Well Drilling has the equipment and expertise to handle your individual water well needs. Access to clean water is vital, and Strickland Well Drilling knows you can't afford to wait. Call for a no-cost detailed estimate today at 352-7228. Strickland Well Drilling, dedicated to keep the valley flowing. Make the call today, 352-7228, or visit StricklandWellDrilling.com.
A John Deere 3 Series family tractor is more than just a tractor. It's an experience. From the moment you get in the seat, you have a ton of features to tackle every chore on your checklist and designed so you enjoy doing them. Plus, it's affordable. So jump on a tractor and get some work done. Check out the Thomason Tractor Company in Firebaugh, where for over 55 years, they strive to provide their customers with individualized, personalized attention. Thomason Tractor Company in Firebaugh, where superior service is standard equipment.
Can you make the payment? Of course you can. $325, $350, $375 a month. Get to own a car, where only one question matters. Can you make the payment? Choose from hundreds of cars, trucks, and SUVs, and with Own a Car's no score, no more. Valley car buyers are getting approved, and most approvals are given within 30 minutes. Can you make the payment? What are you waiting for? Just bring your pay stub and ID. Own a Car Fresno, home of the 500 down sales events, Blackstone and Bullard, or at ownacar.com.
Ownacar.com.
Cashback is not available on gas in New Jersey and Wisconsin.
Susan, I'm sorry I'm late. Traffic is terrible.
It sure is. But on top of that, gas prices have been skyrocketing. I can't believe how expensive gas has gotten recently.
Prices at the pump are up, but I never pay full price for gas anymore. I just use the free Upside app that pays you cash back for every gallon of gas you buy.
Wait a minute. Are you saying you actually get paid cash when you buy gas with the Upside app?
Yes, I get real cash back every time I buy gas.
And does that actually add up to anything?
I've made around $200.
Wow, that's serious extra cash. I'm downloading the free Upside app now.
Download the free Upside app to earn real cash back every time you buy gas. Use promo code BEST for an extra 25 cents per gallon cash back on your first fill-up. You can cash out anytime right to your bank account, to PayPal, or an e-gift card for Amazon and other brands. Just download the free Upside app and use promo code BEST for a 25 cents per gallon bonus on your first tank. That's code BEST for 25 cents per gallon cash back on your first fill-up.
Tired of seeing your neighbor's Christmas lights at Easter? Tired of your neighbor's loud, obnoxious parties and stealing your parking spot? If you live in an HOA and you're not getting the services and support you need, let us help. We would love to be your property management company. Our HOA team here at Regency specializes in customer service, HOA management, CC&R rules enforcement, and community improvements. We help communities be neighbors and assist our boards in making the best decisions for your association. Let us help you increase your reserves, collect delinquent accounts, improve communication, coordinate fun neighborhood events, accomplish community projects, and more, all for a competitive rate. For homeowner association management, it's Regency Property Management at 559-221-3170 or online at regencyfresno.com. Let's improve your community together. Regency Property Management, 559-221-3170. Regency, helping communities be neighbors.
Everything that happens in Fresno's got to run the gauntlet at KMJ. It is such a blessing for you all to have what you have. It's been 100 years of communicating with your community. There's nothing like that for 1,000 miles.
And so ends our broadcast day.
Well, we made it. It's News Talk 580 and 105.9 KMJ. End of the week, Philip.
Yes,
and
it is.
Again, happy St. Patrick's Day to you.
Yeah, guys, it's Friday. It's St. Patrick's Day. There is a nice, long, beautiful, snowy weekend out ahead of us. And, oh my goodness, don't be one of the folks that ends up getting popped by the cops tonight or tomorrow morning.
Amateur hour. Don't do the amateur hour thing.
And I said it before. We were talking about this early in the show. I to the folks who choose to go out and revel in this moment, I have fun, go nuts, do it right. If you're using rideshare, tip as much as you can, because those people, you're cool, and I know you're going to be awesome, and you're going to be polite, and you're going to be respectful, and you're going to get home and have a good night and stay out of trouble. That person is going to pick up somebody who's not cool, who isn't maintaining well, and they're going to end up having to clean the backseat of that car like the last 3 minutes of the crying game. So, for goodness sake, tip well. Treat them like kings, because they are. It's cheaper than a DUI.
Boy, true that.
So, as we have kind of moved beyond the story of Jeffrey Epstein and the pursuit of Ghislaine Maxwell and her trial, and now she's in the process of trying to appeal because the rich privileged lady doesn't like jail, as it turns out. Surprise. Her brother talked to Cron 4 up in the Bay Area about the progress in her appeal and his belief that Ghislaine is taking the fall in place of Jeffrey. However, Ian Maxwell believes that Jeffrey Epstein was murdered. This is never going to go. This is going to be, from this decade, this is going to be one of those cultural imprints. You and I and everybody who's around is going to know what the phrase Epstein didn't kill himself means. And somebody somewhere 1,000 years from now is going to be trying to figure out what the hell we were talking about.
Yeah, but it seems so obvious. A guy in a maximum security prison with no access to anything somehow kills himself. And the video footage during the time that he dies somehow wasn't working during that moment.
I know the pieces for the conspiracy are there. An incredibly wealthy, incredibly privileged, depraved person whose depravity informed and accelerated this narcissism, this belief that they were the center of the universe, finally being in a cage. I just think he couldn't take it. I think if there's any conspiracy there, it's that Jeffrey Epstein somehow paid those people to ignore him long enough to tie that knot.
Interesting.
He didn't want to die in jail, and he knew that was going to be the outcome because he knew he was guilty.
Interesting theory.
That's going to do it for us for another week. Mark Levin is on the way. Before that, we'll hear from our friends at the Valley's Legends and Legacies. We'll also get an update of headlines from the Fox News team. And E. Curtis and I will be back Monday afternoon at 2 o'clock on News Talk 580 and 105.9 KMJ. We mentioned it earlier. We'll say it again. The 100th anniversary documentary for KMJ is March 30th, 7 p.m. on Valley PBS. Set your DVRs. It's going to be pretty cool, you guys. I'm looking forward to you seeing what we got. We'll see you Monday afternoon at 2 o'clock. The great one is next. Stick around.